Oh yeah, oh yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it, do you know it? Oh yeah. Do you know your history, yeah. Do you know it, do you know it? Oh yeah, Do you know your history, yeah. Do you know it, do you know it? Oh yeah,
Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? History.
Now we going back. He done on my back for sure. When I let the truth go, we gon' let them know. My people on my back for sure. I hold them down for the road. The Lord Almighty made me. Laws of God, they changed me. We can see the truth now. Got them looking crazy. Man, I'm always searching. Yeah, you hear I'm searching. You hear me, boy, I'm searching. You hear me, boy, I'm searching. You hear me, boy, I'm searching. Yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it, do you know it? Oh yeah, We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it, do you know it? Oh yeah, We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it, do you know it? Oh yeah. Do you know your history, yeah. Do you know it, do you know it? Oh yeah. Do you know your history, yeah. Do you know it, do you know it? Oh yeah.
Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? History.
Now we going back. He done on my back for sure. When I let the truth go, we gon' let them know. My people on my back for sure. I hold them down for the road. The Lord Almighty made me. Laws of God, they changed me. We can see the truth now. Got them looking crazy. Man, I'm always searching. Yeah, you hear I'm searching. You hear me, boy, I'm searching. You hear me, boy, I'm searching. You hear me, boy, I'm searching. Yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it, do you know it? Oh yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it, do you know it? Oh yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it, do you know it? Oh yeah. Do you know your history, yeah. Do you know it, do you know it? Oh yeah. Do you know your history, yeah. Do you know it, do you know it? Oh yeah.
Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? History.
Now we going back. He done on my back for sure when I let the truth go. We gon' let them know. My people on my back for sure. I hold them down for the road. The Lord Almighty made me. Laws I got, they changed me. We can see the truth now. Got them looking crazy. Man, I'm always searching. Yeah, you hear I'm searching. You hear me, boy, 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 I'm searching. Yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our Father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our Father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know your history? History. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know your history? History. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? History, history.
Now we going back. He done on my back for sure when I let the truth go. We gon' let them know. My people on my back for sure. I hold them down for the road. The Lord Almighty made me. Laws I got, they changed me. We can see the truth now. Got them looking crazy. Man, I'm always searching. Yeah, you hear I'm searching. You hear me, boy, 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 I'm searching. Yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our Father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our Father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know your history? History. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know your history? History. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? History, history.
Now we going back. He done on my back for sure when I let the truth go. We gon' let them know. My people on my back for sure. I hold them down for the road. The Lord Almighty made me. Laws I got, they changed me. We can see the truth now. Got them looking crazy. Man, I'm always searching. Yeah, you hear I'm searching. You hear me, boy, 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 I'm searching. Yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our Father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our Father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know your history? History. Yeah. know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? History, history, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? History.
Hey, shalom, we're back. You are now tuned into
our Hidden History Radio Show.
So we're back. We are heading into, well, I kind of backtracked last week into Babylon for a reason. So we're going to go back. We ended at with Ezekiel, I believe. What was it, Ezekiel?
I think chapter 8 or something.
Yeah, chapter 8. We ended there, right? That was the last. We ended there, so we're going to go chapter 9 and verse 1. Because Ezekiel was shown a vision of what was to take place when Babylon took over. When Babylon besieged Jerusalem, Ezekiel saw the reasons behind why they were allowed to. Let's go Ezekiel chapter 9. Now, we're in Persia now, but I'm going back for a reason because it plays a role.
Hey, Deke, we also got that video lined up if you want to show that too about the men of stature. If you wanted to go back to that.
Yeah. We showed last week about the Sabians, Ethiopians, and the Egyptians being men of stature. So we're going to show you a quick video of the men of stature today. All right, these are the Egyptians. Now, among these people, these are the Sudanese. Now, the real Sudanese, that's the Egyptians. And among the Sudanese, we have Sudanese Negroes. Those are our people. So you're going to see our people among them, but you will see Ham also. But they're known to be very, very tall. Taller than me. I'm 6'7". 6'7" to them is it's like 5 feet.
Yeah, it's like the shortest.
Their women are like 6'2", 6'3". So let's play it. Manute Bol was like 7'1". His son is my height. His son's like in his teens.
Right.
Until today, I always thought that the world's tallest people were in Holland and Latvia. And then I came to the country of South Sudan, and I can't even touch the top of their heads.
And of stature.
South Sudan, as you can see, is a land of the tall and dark.
I'm assuming she's Jake because she got the shiny skin.
She looks like she's Jake. And I love it. I love my height, and being here makes me love it and makes me embrace who I am and how tall I am.
So your friends and family the same height as you? The girls?
She's towering over this guy.
I'm actually short, believe me. But my brothers are way taller than me.
Wow, so brothers are way taller.
You filming? She's the shortest one, and look at this.
See, she's like 6'3", 4".
5 inches taller than me. I'm the tallest one in my family.
No!
Yeah. The majority of the country's 13 million people belong to the Dinka tribe, who inhabit the banks of the Nile and have some of the most stunning physical features you'll ever see. They're extremely slim and tall, almost all of them, with both men and women averaging well over 6 feet tall. I feel like I'm an NBA locker room right now. My neck hurts from looking up at the sky all day long. I'm 5'7". So you're almost 2 feet taller than me.
Yeah, damn near
225 centimeters. 225 centimeters tall? What's it like being so tall?
Well, it's advantageous, especially when there's a crowd. You don't bother.
Awesome. And how old are you guys?
Yeah, I have 20.
20.
Yeah, I'm 19.
What is it like being so tall? I mean,
They're very happy to be tall.
they're happy to be tall.
Yes.
In fact, the tallest NBA player in history is a guy named Manute Bol, standing at 7 feet 7 inches.
Yep,
and can you guess where he's from? South Sudan.
From the same.
Where the basketball game in Juba, South Sudan, they're freaking tall.
Yeah. The basketball court of the rim is like 12 feet, so you have to jump.
Oh, 12 feet.
Right.
Wait, pause that, man.
Yeah, Judge.
The regulation height for basketball rim is 10 feet.
Right.
But because they're so tall over in South Sudan, they raised it 2 feet taller.
Right. Otherwise, they'll just walk up to the hoop and just throw it in there with their hand.
Right.
Right. So Manute Bol was 7'7". His son Bobo, he was 6'7" in his teens. He was my height in his teens. So these people, this is an example. So among them, just Jake there. You can see Jake in their features. And you have the original Sudanese was Ham, and that's the Egyptians and so forth that were pushed out by the Turks. Turks came in, pushed them out. So a lot of the Egyptians today are a bunch of Greek babies, a bunch of Greek Arabs living over there. They pushed the Egyptians out and assumed the identity of Egyptians today. But those are the original true inhabitants of Egypt. Them, the real Sudanese. You have our people over there also. So there's differences. So
Do you want to get the scripture again? Just to remember.
yeah, it's Isaiah 45 and 14, right?
Yes, sir.
Real quick to show that we read earlier. We read last week about how the Persian symbol, the Persian beast symbol, would be the bear raised on one side with 3 ribs in his mouth. He would conquer these 3 ribs. They're all the same family. That's why it's those 3 ribs. Read that.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 45 and verse 14. Thus saith the Lord, the labor of Egypt and merchandise of Ethiopia, and of the Sabians, men of stature, shall come over unto thee, and they shall be thine. They shall come after thee, and chains they shall come over, and they shall fall down unto thee. They shall make supplication unto thee, saying, surely God is in thee, and there is none else, there is no God.
Right, I mean, these nations, these great nations of stature and might, would succumb to the king of Persia, referring to Cyrus. Persia will be a very powerful and vast empire that will subdue these 3 nations of great stature: the Egyptians, Ethiopians, and the Sabians, which would be Somalians. They're very tall. These guys are walking wonders of the world. Okay, they're tallest in the world. So that's them. That's them right there. So that's why you see the Egyptians, pictures of them depicted on the walls. They're real slim and tall, with long face, just like them.
Right.
With the big old hats and all that. Women tall too, just like that sister. Now, I think she was Jake, but they looked like that back then. They looked like that. They were tall like that. And Moses passed for one, so he may have been tall as well. You know, our people, we passed for them. So these are examples. If Paul passed for an Egyptian, Moses passed the one, Joseph passed the one, so you don't know how he looked. You don't know. And remember, Joseph's wife was Egyptian, so Joseph more likely was tall. Right. His kids came out looking like that too. That's probably why I'm so damn tall. Probably passed them genes on. I'm Judah. But he passed
I was wondering what was going on.
it's families intermingle. Anyway, so I'm Judah all day. So the families intermingle, and that's how I'm Judah. So they're all.
It's too late. You put yourself out there, man.
Shit. Well, anyway,
yeah, we'll go home.
I lost my thought.
All right. Oh man, it's okay, D.
Now I'm Judah all day. Anyway, so that's pretty much what happened. So Israel pretty much is tall as well. Saul. Remember, said Saul was tall as well. Saul, Benjamin. So, Southern Kingdom. That's it. So, where we at? We're going back. Ezekiel 9. I'm going to fix it later on. Ezekiel 9.
Yes, sir.
Man, I don't know how you going to fix that up, D. That came out, like it was supposed to come out.
Oh, snap. Something's in this tea. I shouldn't be in.
It's all good.
Ezekiel 9 and 1. So, we're going back to when Babylon besieged Jerusalem. And the reason behind why the Lord allowed it to take place is because the leaders of Israel were going off, and the Lord got tired of it. Ezekiel 9, verse 1.
Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 1. He cried also in mine ears with a loud voice, saying, cause them that have charge over the city to draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand. And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lieth toward the north. And
remember chapter 8 that showed how they were facing the sun. They were worshiping the sun toward the east. The women were weeping for Tammuz. Women were weeping in the temple for Tammuz, rather than to the Lord. And so, well, not to the Lord, weeping to the Lord, but they were weeping for Tammuz rather than serving the Lord. So Ezekiel was seeing all these things going on behind closed doors. All right, so this is the end result of what he saw in chapter 8. Read on.
Which lieth toward the north, and every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. And one man among them was clothed with linen, with a writer's inkhorn by his side. And they went in and stood beside the brazen altar. And the glory of the God of Israel was gone up from the cherub, whereupon he was to the threshold of the house. And he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side.
Right, so the angel had a pen in his hand. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And to the others he said in mine hearing, Go ye after him through the city.
Well, I'm sorry, inkhorn is the container for ink. A container for ink. I'm sorry. Not ink, not a pen, but the container for ink. Go ahead. That's what the inkhorn is. Go ahead.
And to the others he said in mine hearing, Go ye after him through the city, and smite. Let not your eye spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young.
Slay utterly old and young. So read verse 4 again.
Verse 4. And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
I mean, those who are in opposition to the wickedness going on, mark them as being untouched with this judgment come. When this judgment comes, mark them being untouched. Go ahead.
And to the others he said in mine hearing, Go ye after him through the city, and smite.
Those you kill. The ones who have a mark on them, you spare. The ones who don't, you kill them. Go ahead.
Let not your eye spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children.
Maids, little children, infants. Go ahead.
And women. But come not near any man upon whom is the mark.
Whom is the mark of God. The mark of God. There's no holy microchip either. Not a holy chip that Bill Gates made for the Lord. No, it's not. It's spiritual. Set a mark upon them. Okay, go ahead.
And begin at my sanctuary.
And begin at my temple, because that's what the Lord showed Ezekiel. All the evil that was going on in the land. The elders resided in the temple, and they were doing wickedness. That's why the Most High sent the Babylonians in there to destroy it. Okay, to burn it down to the ground with the Edomites coming in and helping. Go ahead.
Then they began at the ancient men, which were before the house. And he said unto them, Defile the house, and fill the courts with the slain.
Kill those in the temple. Go ahead.
Go ye forth. And they went forth, and slew in the city.
The Babylonians. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, while they were slaying them, and I was left, that I fell upon my face and cried, and said, Ah, Lord God, wilt thou destroy all the residue of Israel in thy pouring out of thy fury upon Jerusalem?
Hold on. Read verse 11. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Then said he unto me, The iniquity of the house of Israel and Judah is exceeding great, and the land is full of blood, and the city full of perverseness. For they say, The Lord hath forsaken the earth, and the Lord seeth not.
The Lord don't see what we're doing. Go ahead.
And as for me, also, mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense their way upon their head. And behold, the men clothed with linen, which had the inkhorn by his side, reported the matter, saying, I have done as thou hast commanded me.
Yeah, the angel moved into the spirit of the Babylonians to come in and kill us out the land. And those who were not, and those who were spared were taken captive to Babylon. Your Daniels, your Ezekiels, your Mordecais, your Joachim. These are the Lord who spared, even though these guys, some of them are wicked as hell. He said, spare them. Because remember, Joachim and Joachim is where Joseph comes out of that line. So they were spared. They had to be spared. Joachim particularly had to be spared because out of Joachim came Zerubbabel. Okay? So, why did I go here? 2 Chronicles 36, verse 18. 2 Chronicles 36. I'm sort of backtracking, but it'll tie into Persia again. You'll see. I almost forgot why I wrote this down. I'm like, why the hell I'm going backwards for? That's now I know what I'm doing. Second Chronicles 36:18. We're gonna read to verse 21.
Yes, sir. Second Chronicles chapter 36 and verse 18. And all the vessels of the house of God, great and small, and the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king, and of the princes, all these he brought to Babylon.
So he took them to Babylon. These are the ones who he set a mark upon, who were spared from the onslaught of the Babylonians. Remember, he killed women, children, toddlers, young infants. He killed all, old and young, women and male and female. He killed, but somebody spared. Okay, continue.
And they burnt the house of God.
And maybe he says, start the sanctuary. He burnt the house of God. He burnt the sanctuary, and the Edomites were there to help do it. Go ahead.
And break down the wall of Jerusalem.
Broke down the walls, because remember they besieged us. They knocked the walls down. Go ahead.
And burnt all the palaces thereof with fire.
They burned all the nobles, princes' homes down, the houses down. Go ahead.
And destroyed all the godly vessels thereof.
Goodly vessels.
Goodly vessels, sorry.
Go ahead.
And them that had escaped from the sword carried he away to Babylon.
Those who didn't kill, he took to Babylon. Go ahead.
Where they were servants to him and his sons until the reign of the kingdom of Persia.
Until the reign of the kingdom of Persia. Watch this.
To fulfill the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah.
Fulfill the words by the mouth of Jeremiah. Watch this.
Until the land had enjoyed her Sabbaths.
The land enjoyed her rest. So she's at rest now too, because her people are not there. Her people are not there as a whole. We are there, but not as a whole. The whole nation is not there. Go ahead. So the land still enjoys her Sabbaths. Go ahead.
For as long as she lay desolate, she kept Sabbath.
Right. As long as we were not in there, she got a chance to rest from all the evil we were doing while we were in there. Go ahead.
To fulfill 70 years.
To fulfill her 70 years. A score is 20. So 70 is 60. 3 scores is 3 scores of 20. 20 is 60. And 10 meaning 70. So she fulfilled her 70 years until the reign of Cyrus. That's why I showed y'all before. It was 609 to 539. That's 70 years approximately. Some scholars would disagree or argue, or they vary, but they still equate to 70 years. I came across one that was 66 years. That was nonsense. But it's really 609. 609 to 539 is the most accurate date I've come across thus far regarding them conquering Babylon, to Nebuchadnezzar besieging Jerusalem. That was 539. And that's pretty much the most accurate date as far as I'm concerned. So 509 to 539 is 70 years. 609 to 539 is 70 years. All right. So once Cyrus came into power, that marked the 70 year. Israel was allowed to return from their exile. So we're going back to that in a minute. Read on to 22 and 23.
Yes, sir. Verse 22. Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord spoken by the mouth of Jeremiah might be accomplished, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writings.
Jeremiah prophesied that after 70 years, Israel would return back to the land. And it also fulfills what Isaiah said 150 years prior. By mentioning Cyrus by name damn near 2 times. Isaiah 44, he mentions him. Isaiah 45, he mentions him by name. Okay, you cannot deny the prophetic statements in the Bible. The prophecies in the Bible are true. That's why I showed y'all last week about Daniel's book. They were trying to argue, saying, oh, when the book of Daniel was written, it was written during the time of the Greeks. But they're like, well, how could that be if the writing itself of Daniel, the records of Daniel's writings or his letters, were written in Imperial Aramaic? Imperial Aramaic is the written language of the nobles of Jerusalem during the time of Babylon and Persia. So it could not have been written during the time of the Greeks. By that time of the Greeks, that language is already dead. It was done, finished. So it had to have been written during the time of Persia and Babylon. So even if you were to argue and say, well, he wrote it during the time of the Greeks, how do you explain him knowing about Rome after?
Right.
How do you know about that? So that's how you know the Bible is. You have heathens that will sit there and call themselves scholars of the Bible, but they're atheists. It's crazy. Well, we believe in the Bible, but the prophecies, you don't believe in that. Well, the Bible is a book of prophecy. If there's no prophecies in the Bible, then the Bible is not a Bible. It's not holy. It's nonsense. Right. It's just a bunch of stories. So but you have scholars that's like, nah, that's prophecy. You have people who Edomites who are whistleblowers saying, nah, you guys are atheists. That's prophecy. He mentioned Cyrus by name, 150 years before he was born. Daniel was speaking about Rome and Greece, but long before they came into power. So you have some scholars that's like, yo, the Bible has prophetic, has prophecies in it. Period. So read on.
Saying, thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, all the kingdoms of the earth hath the Lord God of heaven given me, and he hath charged me to build him an house in Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Right. Who is there among you, all his people? The Lord his God be with him, and let him go up.
Right, let him return from his lands of exile, because Israel was exiled into lands that the Babylonians had sent them had placed them in. Okay, because once Jerusalem was ransacked and besieged, they took us captive, they placed us in lands. The same thing that the Assyrians did, the Babylonians followed suit and displaced us and scattered us all over the place, and we became the diaspora. Once Assyria and Babylon came into power, we officially became the diaspora. Some of y'all refer to it today as the African diaspora. It's the same thing. We went into Spain, we went into India, we went into Iraq, we went into Iran, we went into West Africa, we went to Turkey, we went into Britain, we went into Europe, we were all over the damn place. And some of us chose to return, some of us chose to stay. The majority of Southern Kingdom returned. Northern Kingdom, majority-wise, did not come back. They ended up coming over here. That's in my last series. I'm not going over that again. That was a lot. It was 33 freaking chapters. Y'all can go back and watch that. I'm not. That's a lot.
Very extensive.
Lot of information. Yeah. Right. So I am going to touch on it a little bit because we're in this. So give me Ezra chapter 1 verse 1 now.
Ezra chapter 1 verse 1. Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled.
70 years is up.
The Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven hath given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he hath charged me to build him an house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah.
Right, he has charged me to allow the house of God to be built in Jerusalem again. Go ahead.
Who is there among you of all his people? His God be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and build the house of the Lord, God of Israel. He is the God which is in Jerusalem.
Right. So Cyrus had respect for the God of Israel. The Lord moved his spirit to allow God's people to return to rebuild what was destroyed. The walls, the palaces, the temple, to rebuild what was destroyed. Continue.
And whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourneth, let the men of his place help him with silver and with gold and with goods and with beasts, beside the free will offering for the house of God that is in Jerusalem.
Read 4 again.
And whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourneth, let the men of his place help him with silver and with gold and with goods and with beasts, beside the free will offering for the house of God that is in Jerusalem.
Verse 4 proves that some of us chose to stay where we were at. Some of us chose to not return. Some of us chose to stay where we were at. So like I said before, Israel ended up remaining in Ethiopia. We remained in Africa. Same thing, Africa, West Coast, East Coast, the southern areas, Iran, Iraq, India. We chose to remain, Spain. We chose to remain in the lands from which we were displaced. All right? Persia, things of that nature. Read the next verse. Read the next. So he said, those of you who choose to stay and not return to rebuild your land back, send forth resources in gold and silver to help those of your people that do return from their lands of exile. Help them assist. Don't just stay scattered. If you're going to be scattered, fine, but at least send some resources. That's what Cyrus is saying. Okay, verse 5 now.
Verse 5. Then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests.
So Judah, Benjamin, Levi. Go ahead.
And the Levites.
That's the three. That's three. That's right. That's right there. Southern Kingdom. Go ahead. Because Levi was scattered all over the place. Go ahead.
With all them whose spirit God had raised.
The with all them is the remnants of Northern Kingdom that returned with Southern Kingdom. Remnants of northern kingdom returned to their original allotments of land with southern kingdom to help rebuild. Not all northern kingdom came to this side of the world. That is wrong. Anyone saying that is error. It's an error. Not all of northern kingdom came to this side. The large bulk of northern kingdom did come to this side of the world. Okay, I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But remnants, like you have Anna and Luke. Anna, you have who else? Well, Anna's an example, a prime example. I can think of it off top of the Samaritan woman. Okay, the Samaritans period. Cornelius, right. He was in Caesarea. That's Palestine. Caesarea is in Israel. The land Caesarea. He was a centurion. He was thus in Israel. People oftentimes read about Cornelius where it says he was a centurion of the Roman band. I'm like, yeah, but it says in Caesarea. That's Israel. People bypass that. Anyway, northern kingdom. Okay, northern kingdom. So remnants of northern kingdom, they also came along with southern kingdom and helped rebuild. All right, what was destroyed by the Babylonians along with the Edomites, based upon Psalms 137 and Obadiah and Jeremiah 49. Where else I want to go to?
Want me to finish off the verse, Deacon?
Get 2 Chronicles. Yeah, finish the verse up. Read verse 5 again.
Yes, sir.
To go 2 Chronicles 11.
Verse 5. Then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites, with all them whose spirit God hath raised, to go up to build the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem.
Right, get 2 Chronicles 11:15. 2 Chronicles 11:15, 16.
2 Chronicles chapter 11 and verse 15. Yeah. And he ordained him priests for the high places, and for the devils, and for the calves.
Whoa, hold on a second. Hold on one. Read verse 14. I'm sorry. Start from read 14.
Verse 14. For the Levites left their suburbs and their possession, and came to Judah and Jerusalem. For Jeroboam and his sons had cast them off from executing the priest's office unto the Lord.
Right. So when the 12 tribes split in two, Jeroboam basically kicked. Levi was scattered in all the suburbs of each 12. Levi had a suburb in each of the 12. Their job was to be priests everywhere. So Jeroboam said, you guys are going to bring Israel back to the Lord. So you guys are fired. Get out of here. So he kicked all the Levites out of the northern kingdom suburbs, and all Levi came and resided with southern kingdom. Okay, so rather than Judah and just Benjamin, it became Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. That's the three tribes, southern kingdom. Then Jeroboam set up base men, idiots of northern kingdom, to play the priests, to worship idols. All right. The
hell is this?
So read on.
And he ordained him priests for the high places, and for the devils, and for the calves which he had made.
Verse 16, watch this.
And after them, out of all the tribes of Israel, such as set their heart to seek the Lord God of Israel, came to Jerusalem, to sacrifice unto the Lord God of their fathers.
That shows you that not all northern kingdom went off. Like Tobit is an example. Okay, these are examples of the fact that Judith, these are prime examples of all northern kingdom who would continue to go back and offer sacrifices. So when Ezra came into power and ordained that all Israel come back and return from their lands of exile and rebuild, remnants of northern kingdom returned to their lands and helped rebuild as well. It wasn't just southern kingdom. Remnants of northern kingdom came and returned and helped rebuild. Now, go back to Ezra now, and you in verse 5 again. We're going to read to verse 8.
Yes, sir. Ezra chapter 1 verse 5. Then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites, with all them whose spirit God had raised, to go up to build the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem.
With all them is northern kingdom. Go ahead. Read on.
And all they that were about them strengthened their hands with vessels of silver, with gold, with goods, and with beasts, and with precious things, beside all that was willingly offered. Mm-hmm. Also Cyrus the king brought forth the vessels of the house of the Lord, which Nebuchadnezzar had brought forth out of Jerusalem.
Right, because it's a new landlord, okay? The Cyrus came in, pretty much deposed the Babylonians of their rule, and all the precious valuables that Babylon had. Cyrus got a hold of it, and he returned it to its rightful owners, okay, which would be our stuff for the temple. Go ahead.
Which Nebuchadnezzar had brought forth out of Jerusalem, and had put them in the house of his gods. Even those did Cyrus, king of Persia, bring forth by the hand of Mithridath, the treasurer, and numbered them unto Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah.
Wait. 1 second. Read it again.
Even those did Cyrus, king of Persia, bring forth by the hand of Mithridath, the treasurer.
Mithridath, the treasurer. Go ahead.
And numbered them unto Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah.
And numbered them, mean the vessels of the temple, the precious vessels and instruments of the temple. He gave to Mithridath, the treasurer, and numbered them unto Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah. Sheshbazzar. Who is Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah? Who could that be? Sheshbazzar. He gave it to Mithridath, the treasurer, and Sheshbazzar.
The prince of Judah.
Prince of Judah. People read past these things. Yep. Read past these names. It's very important. Sheshbazzar. Give me Ezra 3, verse 1.
Damn. Bring it out.
Ezra 3, verse 1. We're gonna read to verse 6. 6 is the main verse I want. Then we're gonna read to verse 13.
Ezra chapter 3 and verse 1. And when the 7th month was come, and the children of Israel were in the cities, the people gathered themselves together as one man to Jerusalem.
Right, because Israel was allowed to return back to their allotments of land. That remember, Cyrus gave us decree to return to our lands. Go ahead.
Then stood up Jeshua, the son of Jozadak, and his brethren the priests, and Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and his brethren, and builded the altar of the God of Israel.
Hold on 1 second. Say something, Jess. I'm gonna find something real quick. I'm gonna show y'all. Show something. Come on.
So going back to Ezra 1, when Deacon was bringing out about how Cyrus gave us proclamation to go back into the land. I don't know, a couple of episodes back when we went into Spain, I don't know if y'all remember, we brought out how also he was scattered over there in Spain. And Ezra, he sent letters over to our brothers that was over in Spain to come back. But we knew we didn't want to come back at the time because we knew what? The temple was going to be destroyed again.
A second time.
A second time. So we knew the prophecy of that, so we stayed over in Spain. But he sent letters out to let our people know that was scattered abroad. Like, listen, y'all can come back because Cyrus gave us that proclamation. All right?
Right. So our brothers who were in Spain, they didn't return. They stayed over there, but they did send the gold and silver and the goods and free will offerings that Ezra had proclaimed that they should do. If they're going to stay where they're at, fine, but send resources to help. So our brothers, there was historically written that Nebuchadnezzar had placed some of us over there in Spain. Okay, historically, as they say.
Right.
I'm trying to find where it says the Edomites took our land. Hold on. Yeah, I got it. First Ezra 4. 1 second. What's that? 1 second.
I was trying to look for it, but they was it's a historical record as far as Daniel said that Daniel showed Cyrus that he was going to rule. It was I forgot what book it was, but Daniel was showing Cyrus that, look, this is you in the Bible, and that's why he respected the Most High, because he seen the prophecy. Like, damn, that's me, conquering or whatever.
Damn.
But I gotta find it. I was looking for it.
Yeah, I don't want to jump ahead. Let me see.
It's about 450.
No, I have it. I don't want to make sure because it's going into Darius. I don't want to jump ahead. Hold on.
What you looking for, D?
No, I found it. I just want to make sure.
Okay.
If I have it written down already, I don't want to jump ahead and go over something. 3, 1, 4, 4, 1, and down. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it alone. All right, I'll leave it alone. So I'm gonna go to it. I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna get to it eventually. Regarding the Edomites wanting our land over time. Read on. Where were you at?
Verse 2.
Read on.
Then stood up Jeshua, the son of Jozadak, and his brethren the priests.
Okay, so then stood up Jeshua, the son of Jozadak. Okay, keep that in mind. Go ahead.
And his brethren the priests, and Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and his brethren, and builded the altar of the God of Israel to offer burnt offerings thereon, as it is written in the law of Moses, the man of God.
So you have these two important people here. You have Zerubbabel, and you have Joshua, son of Jozadak. Now, I mentioned earlier, I mentioned Ezekiel regarding the Lord, the angel coming in and moving the spirit of the Babylonians to come and besiege and conquer and kill both old and young, male and female, babies and so forth. Okay, he spared some and killed others, right? Keep that in mind. So this is Zerubbabel, who comes out of the line of Jachin and Jachim. Then you have Joshua, the son of Josedek. Keep that name in mind. It's Joshua, the son of Josedek. All right, or Joshua, or Jesus. Same thing. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And they set the altar upon his bases, for fear was upon them because of the people of those countries. And they offered burnt offerings thereon unto the Lord, even burnt offerings morning and evening. They kept also the feast of tabernacles, as it is written, and offered the daily burnt offering by number, according to the custom, as the duty of every day required. And afterward offered the continual burnt offering, both of the new moons and of all the set feasts of the Lord that were consecrated, and of every one that willingly offered a free will offering unto the Lord. From the first day of the 7th month began they to offer burnt offerings unto the Lord. But the foundation of the temple of the Lord was not yet laid.
So the foundation for the temple was not yet laid. So we're in the point now where we're in the stage where this is before the foundation of the temple was laid. Keep this in mind. Go ahead.
They gave money also unto the masons.
I'm sorry, because when you read Ezra is all over the place. Ezra and Daniel is like Daniel chapter 10 goes into the Mede. Then chapter 6 and 7 is Cyrus. I'm being sarcastic, but it's like it's not in order. That's why I read Daniel like last week. I read Daniel like chapter 8. I went to 10. Then went to 9. I went to 6 because it's like the first year of Belshazzar, the third year of Belshazzar. I'm like, damn, and that's like after Cyrus is already ruling, but it's like it's going back and forth. So it's not in proper order. So what I'm doing is I'm reading it in the order. All right? But in some instances where I read in Daniel, it jumps too far ahead, so I had to stop midway in some chapters like I did last week because it's going too much. It goes into Rome, I got to stop. It goes into the Greeks, I got to stop because that's jumping out of the captivity class. So read on. So right here, I'm going here because it's going into how the fact that the foundation was not yet laid. So I'm trying to go in order where the foundation is not yet laid and eventually gets laid and is built from there. Go ahead, continue.
Verse 7. They gave money also unto the masons and to the carpenters, and meat and drink and oil unto them of Zidon and to them of Tyre, to bring cedar trees from Lebanon to the sea of Joppa, according to the grant that they had of Cyrus, king of Persia.
Right, so we got masons, we got those of carpenters, meat and drink and oil, and them of Zidon and Tyre, to bring cedar trees from Lebanon to the sea. Remember, Israel built the temple, the first temple. Right. You built the first temple, Solomon's temple. We used these things. We used Tyre and Zidon's resources to build the first one. So this is the second. We're building the second one now. This is the second one. All right. We're trying to use the same resources. Go ahead. Under the orders of King Cyrus. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Now in the 2nd year of their coming unto the house of God at Jerusalem, in the 2nd month began Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel and Jeshua the son of Josadak, and the remnant of their brethren, the priests and the Levites, and all they that were come out of the captivity unto Jerusalem, and appointed the Levites from 20 years old and upward, and set forward the work of the house of the Lord.
To set forward the house of the work of the Lord.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Then stood Jeshua with his sons and his brethren, Kadmiel and his sons, and the sons of Judah together, to set forward the workmen in the house of God, the sons of Henadad, with their sons, and their brethren, the Levites. And when the builders laid the foundation of the temple of the Lord, they set the priests in their apparel with trumpets, and the Levites, the sons of Asaph, with cymbals, to praise the Lord, after the ordinance of David, king of Israel. And they sang together by the course of praising and giving thanks unto the Lord, because he is good, for his mercy endureth forever toward Israel. And all the people shouted with a great shout when they praised the Lord, because the foundation of the house of the Lord was laid.
So now the foundation is officially laid. They gave praise to the Lord. That gave them a mercy and allowed them under Cyrus's rule to finally lay the foundation of the temple. This is the beginning. This is the grassroots of the temple now being built. The foundation was laid. All right? So this marks the beginning of the temple being built. All right? During Zerubbabel and Joshua's time. All right? Let's continue.
Verse 12. But many of the priests and Levites and chief of the fathers, who were ancient men that had seen the first house, when the foundation of this house was laid before their eyes, wept with a loud voice, and many shouted aloud for joy.
Because these old men, they saw Solomon's temple. So now they're seeing the second one being built. It made them emotional. Because they're like, wow, it was we watched them destroy the first one, and now we're seeing it be built again, so it brought emotions to them. Go ahead.
So that the people could not discern the noise of the shout of the joy from the noise of the weeping of the people. For the people shouted with a loud shout, and the noise was heard afar off.
Everybody heard us rejoice. In tears and in laughter. They heard us rejoice over the foundation finally being laid. Now don't forget Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah. I didn't forget. I hope you didn't forget. Regarding Sheshbazzar and Mithridash the treasurer. Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah. Now, get me, 13. Give me 1 Ezra 6. 1 Ezra 6:17. So now the foundation is laid under the banner of Zerubbabel and Joshua, right? And remember, Cyrus had turned the vessels for the temple by the hands of Mithridash, the treasurer, and Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah. Who is Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah? We'll get to that soon enough. 1 Ezra chapter 6, verse 17, and we're going to stop at verse 20. That's the verse I want to stop at. For 1 Ezra chapter 6, verse 17.
1 Ezra chapter 6, verse 17. But in the first year that King Cyrus reigned over the country of Babylon, Cyrus the king wrote to build up this house. And the holy vessels of gold and of silver that Nebuchadnezzar had carried away out of the house at Jerusalem and had set them in his own temple, those Cyrus the king brought forth again out of the temple at Babylon. And they were delivered to Zerubbabel and to Sheshbazzar, the ruler. Sheshbazzar, the ruler.
Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah, the ruler. Who is this? Sheshbazzar. Sheshbazzar is the Greek form of Sheshbazzar. It's the same name. But it says Zerubbabel and to Sheshbazzar, the ruler. Now, in my Bible, it says, or Zerubbabel. Right. That is him. Sheshbazzar is Zerubbabel. That's his Persian name. Wow. That's his Persian. Daniel had Belshazzar, Meshach, Shadrach, Abednego. Joseph had Onomatopoeia. I forgot his name. Zephnath, Paneah, blah, 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 I can't. That name was long as hell. And you had Zerubbabel's name was Sheshbazzar. That was a Persian name.
So every captivity, our name changed. They gave us different names.
So it says, or my Bible says, or Zerubbabel, which is Sheshbazzar, the ruler. Or so as Zerubbabel seemeth to be added to the text. So basically what they're saying is it has both, it's written where it's given his actual birth name and his Persian name in the same. That's why it says Zerubbabel and to Sheshbazzar, meaning it's the same person. Given to Zerubbabel and to Sheshbazzar or Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah, or Sheshbazzar, the ruler. That is Zerubbabel. Some scholars say, oh no, it's his uncle. No, it's him. It's referring to Zerubbabel. That's who it's referring to. Most scholars agree it is Zerubbabel. My Bible agrees as well. It is Sheshbazzar is Zerubbabel. Okay?
Hey, Deacon.
Yeah.
It backs up what you say in the Bible dictionary.
Okay. It does? What is that? You have it?
Yeah.
Let's get it. It's Zonovan?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Bring it out.
It's the,
I don't know what was there. All praises.
Yeah, this is the Zondervan Bible Compact Dictionary.
Okay.
Everybody should have that.
Yeah, it's good.
This is
dictionary.
Yes, sir. Just backing up what you said. Page 546. It says Sheshbazzar, a prince of the Jews when Cyrus made a decree permitting the Jews to go back to Jerusalem to rebuild the house of God. He was made governor. Was given the sacred vessels of the temple which had been taken at the captivity, and helped lay the foundation of the temple. Ezra chapter 1, verse 8, chapter 11, Ezra chapter 5, verse 14, and verse 16. He may be the same as Zerubbabel.
He's a governor as Zerubbabel. I don't know the governor but him. Yes, that is Zerubbabel. Zerubbabel. I keep messing that name up. Zerubbabel. I got to pronounce the thing. Zerubbabel. All right? So now, get first Ezra 2 and 1. Yes, so son of Cyrus is Sheshbazzar. Sheshbazzar is Zerubbabel. All right? Who laid the foundation, brought the vessels, laid the foundation along with Joshua. No other priests. First Ezra 2, verse 1. We're going to read to verse 15. Then stop at 16. And get more information on what Onias has brought out.
You didn't want to verse 20?
Yeah, read verse 20. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Verse 19. First Ezra 6, verse 19. With commandment that he should carry away the same vessels and put them in the temple at Jerusalem, and that the temple of the Lord should be built in his place. Then the same Sheshbazzar, I can't say Sennabasaris, being come hither, laid the foundations of the house of the Lord at Jerusalem. Right, go ahead. And from that time to this being still a building, it is not yet fully ended.
So the scribe that wrote this said it's not finished yet. Still has more work to be done. The foundation's laid. There's still more work to be done. All right? So now.
Hey, you know what's funny about that? You reading that, you the one that wanted the verse.
I know.
You like, yo, D, can we read 19?
Supposed to be those 20. He's right. He's right. So, hey, you asked for it. You got it.
Right. Damn. Should have been quiet.
He's like, Cinnabon. He went to the restaurant, Cinnabon.
He was excited. Yo, D, you want 19?
You want it? I got it. I got you. Oh, yeah. Go to First Ezra 2.
Yes, sir. First Ezra chapter 2 and verse 1.
Oh, yeah.
In the first year of Cyrus, king of the Persians, that the word of the Lord might be accomplished, that he had promised by the mouth of Jeremy, the Lord raised up the spirit of Cyrus, the king of the Persians, and he made proclamation through all his kingdom, and also by writing, saying, Thus saith Cyrus, king of the Persians, the Lord of Israel, the most high Lord, have made me king of the whole world, and commanded me to build him an house at Jerusalem in Jewry. If therefore there be any of you that are of his people, let the Lord, even his Lord, be with him.
This is a repeat of Ezra chapter 1 and down. Go ahead.
And let him go up to Jerusalem that is in Judea, and build the house of the Lord of Israel, for he is the Lord that dwelleth in Jerusalem. Whosoever then dwell in the places about, let them help him, those I say that are his neighbors, with gold and with silver, with gifts, with horses, and with cattle, and other things which have been set forth by vow for the temple of the Lord at Jerusalem. Then the chief of the families of Judea and of the tribe of Benjamin stood up, the priests also, and the Levites, and all they whose mind the Lord had moved to go up, and to build the house for the Lord at Jerusalem. And they that dwelt round about them and helped them in all things with silver and gold, with horses and cattle, and with very many free gifts of great number, whose minds were stirred up thereto. King Cyrus also brought forth the holy vessels, which Nebuchadnezzar had carried away from Jerusalem, and had set up in his temples of idols. Now when Cyrus, king of the Persians, had brought them forth, he delivered them to Mithridates, his treasurer.
Mithridates is the same guy, the treasurer. Go ahead.
And by him they were delivered to Sennabassar, the governor of Judea.
Sennabassar, Sheshbazzar, Sennabasaris or Sennabassar, the what? The governor of
Judea.
That's the same. That is Zerubbabel. I can't say that name. Zerubbabel. That is Zerubbabel. Okay, that's the same guy. Sennabassar or Sennabasaris. All right. Jump down to verse of. Let me know all of that. Jump down to verse 15.
Verse 15.
No. Matter of fact, read verse 15. Go ahead.
Verse 15. These were brought back by Sennabassar together with them of the captivity from Babylon to Jerusalem. But in the time of Artaxerxes, king of the Persians, Belamus, and Mithridates, and Tabalius, and Rethumus, and Beelthemus, and Samelius, the secretary, with others that were in commission with them, dwelling in Samaria, and other places, wrote unto him against them that dwelt in Judea and Jerusalem these letters following.
Wow, good job. My name is hard.
Oh, damn.
You all right. You did a good job, man.
Yeah, all right. I was sweating the whole time.
All right, read on. So during the time of Artaxerxes, this is when they start hindering us. So they stopped us. Even the treasurer, Mithridates, turned against us. Mithridates was a heathen. He was a treasurer. Even he, with the heathens, turned against us. All right? So, read on.
Verse 17. To King Artaxerxes, our Lord, thy servants, Rathumus, the story writer, and Semelius, the scribe, and the rest of the council, and the judges that are in...
Wait. You can go too far ahead. Where was that?
Verse 17.
No, stop at 16. That's all I want. Okay, so son of Bashar, 16. So during Artaxerxes, they stopped. They give us problems. Go to Bible... Oh, I didn't even send it to y'all. Go to Bible Study Tools real quick, BibleStudyTools.com, and type in Zerubbabel, Bible Study Tools. You have to type in Bible Study. You have to type in Bible Study Tools, and then type in the Google search, Bible Study Tools and Zerubbabel. So to come up together. Now you gotta Google it. Go to Google and type it that way. Just type in Zerubbabel and BibleStudyTools.com and it should pop up. The website's very weird. Giving you a hard time?
What's wrong? What's the pop-ups?
Do I need that? I don't need it. That's all right. Here we got the Zonovan. That's enough. That's fine. You don't need it. I was gonna show it on here too, another source, but that's fine. If you get it, you get it. Let's see. If you don't pop up with this, then forget it. Study tools. Is that it there? BibleStudyTools.com? All right. Blow it up some. Blow it up. Give it a...
Hey, there's no way you can stop the pop-ups? All right. That's cool.
All right. Blow it up.
You ready, Deacon?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Pardon me. Go ahead.
Zerubbabel, the head of Judah. The name Zerubbabel means born at Babel.
Yep, born in Babel. Sown in Babel or born in Babel. That's what it means. Zeru means sown or born in Babylon. Go ahead.
Babylon. Zerubbabel was the grandson of King Joachim of Judah. 1 Chronicles chapter 3, verse 17.
Yep.
And therefore a descendant of David.
Yep, he was. Go ahead.
Born in Babylon during the exile of Judeans. Zerubbabel migrated to Judah after King Cyrus II allowed the banished tribe to return to their home to restore the temple. The prophet Haggai identifies Zerubbabel as the head of Judah after the exile. Zerubbabel was the head of the tribe of Judah at the time of the return from the Babylonian captivity.
He was the governor, the prince. That's the same guy, Sheshbazzar. Go ahead, watch this.
In the first year of Cyrus. According to the story of Zerubbabel in the scriptures, in the first year of Cyrus, he was living at Babylon and was the recognized prince of Judah in the captivity. What in later times was called the prince of the captivity, or the prince. On the issuing of Cyrus' decree, he immediately availed himself of it and placed himself at the head of those of his countrymen, whose spirit God had raised to go up to build the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem.
That's a 1 and 5,
It is probable that he was in the king of Babylon's service, both from receiving a Chaldee name, Sheshbazzar.
There you go. Chaldee name, some say Persian name. Chaldee name, Sheshbazzar. Sheshbazzar, is it?
Like Daniel and the 3 children, and from the fact that he was appointed by the Persian king to the office of governor of Judea.
Right, so Sheshbazzar that's him. All right, that is him. Zerubbabel is Sheshbazzar. Now, get Ezra 4:1. Ezra 4, verse 1. You can read the verse 5.
Ezra chapter 4 and verse 1. Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity had builded the temple unto the Lord God of Israel, then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chiefs of the fathers and said unto them, Let us build with you, for we seek your God as ye do. And we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Azaradan, king of Ashur.
Right, Ashuradan was the Babylonian king. Ashuradan. Okay, king of Ashur. No, I'm sorry, Assyria.
Assyrian, right?
King of Ashuradan, yeah. Ashuradan was Sennacherib's son, I believe. And he said, we were put here by the Assyrians. We serve the God you worship. Because remember, when Israel was taken out of the land by the Assyrians, they put heathens there, and the heathens had to sacrifice to our God because God sent lions in to kill them because they defiled the land. So they had to honor our God. So those base Israelites that were set up, they were the ones that were used to teach the heathens, or they were the ones that were used to sacrifice unto our God for our God to let them keep the land. All right, so these heathens resided in our land wrongfully since the time of Assyria, which is a long time. It's over from Assyria to Persia. It's many years. So we've been here since the time of Assyria. We've been here. We serve the same God you do, along with their own gods. Watch this.
And I'm sorry, D, if I may add. Remember, that was their policy to deport us out of our lands. That was a policy they had to deport us out of our lands and put other people in our place.
In our place, right. Yeah.
Which brought us up hither. But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, Ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our God, but we ourselves together will build unto the Lord God of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, have commanded us.
We don't need your help. We don't want you heathens helping us. We're good. Just get out of here. We don't. So that shows you our forefathers were not on some kumbaya, rainbow coalition, nonsense. They weren't on that stuff. We don't want you heathens around us. We're good. We got it. We'll do it ourselves. We'll build for ourselves. We're good on our own. Watch this. So let's see if these God-fearing heathens accepted that rejection. Watch this.
Verse 4. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building.
There you go. And didn't like that because they were going to infiltrate and destroy. That's what the heathens do. Come in all peaceful, only to come along and destroy. You know, Zerubbabel saw it. Joshua saw it. The princes like we don't trust them. And there you go. So they weakened our hands through what? Through their policies. Writing us up, reporting us and things like that. That's what they were doing. Verse 5, to slow things down. Verse 5.
Verse 5. And hired counselors against them.
You read the list earlier. Mithridates, Semelius. This is them. Go ahead.
To frustrate their purpose all the days of Cyrus, king of Persia, even unto the reign of Darius, king of Persia.
And hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose all the days of Cyrus. All the days of Cyrus and king of Persia, even until the reign of Darius, king of Persia. So they gave us a hard time from the time when Cyrus was up there ruling all the way until the time of his grandson Darius was ruling, his great-grandson. So now, let's get verse 6.
Verse 6. And in the reign of Ahasuerus, in the beginning of his reign, wrote they unto him an accusation against the inhabitants of Judah and Jerusalem.
So verse 5 gives you a time frame in between. You got Cyrus and you have Darius. Cyrus and Darius. Now, real quick, go to the pamphlet real fast. So in between Cyrus and Darius, they troubled us in building the temple, right? So who is this Ahasuerus here in verse 6? Who could it be?
That's a long time they troubled us, Deacon.
It's a few years.
2 years, yep.
2 years, actually. I believe, or more than that. Yeah, it's a long time. Yeah, it's a long time. You're right. It's a long time. It's more than 2 years. So now go to the list of kings here. Right there. Now you see, in between you see Cyrus and you see Darius the first, right? So they troubled us from Cyrus all the way until Darius the first. So in between Cyrus and Darius, they troubled us. So the work was stopped in the temple during Cambyses. Cambyses the second. The Ahasuerus is Cambyses the second in Ezra 4 and 6. Okay? That's where they troubled us. So in between Cyrus and Darius, you had Cambyses the second. All right? They were troubling us. So read again. So Ahasuerus in this verse is Cambyses the second. Go ahead. Because Cambyses the first, I believe, is Cyrus's father. Cambyses the first is Cyrus's father. And this Cyrus's son, named after his father, is Cambyses the second. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And in the reign of Ahasuerus, in the beginning of his reign, wrote they unto him an accusation against the inhabitants of Judah and Jerusalem.
Right, go ahead.
And in the days of Artaxerxes wrote.
Stop. Now, it can't be Artaxerxes the second, the first, because that's after Darius. They troubled us from the time of Cyrus to Darius. So this Artaxerxes is not Xerxes, because Xerxes came after Darius. This Artaxerxes is not Xerxes the second, because that's after Darius. So who is this Artaxerxes? This Artaxerxes is Bardiah or Smerdis, an imposter king, an imposter that claimed to be, I think, what's his name, Cambyses' brother, some nonsense. He was some ruler that ruled for a few months. And he also was, he was the one that was moved to stop us from building the temple as well. All right, so you had so you had Cyrus, and you had Cambyses, and you had Bardiah in between before Darius came up, who were under the names of Ahasuerus in verse 6 and Bardiah in verse 7. All right? Read on.
And in the days of Artaxerxes wrote, Bishlam, Mithridath, Tabiel, and the rest of their companions unto Artaxerxes, king of Persia.
Smartest, yeah.
And in the writing of the letter was written in the Syrian tongue.
Syrian tongue goes back to the Aramaean tongue. Aramaic or Syriac. You read the word Syrack in the Bible. Syriac. Syriac is Aramaic, the language of Aram. Aram is a Semitic language. It's like a form of Hebrew, a certain form of Hebrew. Because remember, Hebrew was pretty much was divided from the time of Babylon, the different dialects. So maybe all heathens spoke a certain version of it, but the Hebrews spoke the most concentrated version of it. So the Shemites did. The Persians spoke it. The Babylonians spoke it to an extent. So Abraham was able to have conversations with the Canaanites, because they spoke certain versions or dialects of the same form of language, but the Hebrews had a certain form of it that you can distinguish it from other versions, even though that version's corrupt as well. From the time of Egypt and down, the Hebrew that we spoke initially from the time of Abraham and up was corrupt through assimilation, integration, migration, all that stuff. But what's it say? Syrian tongue goes back to the Syriac. The Syriac goes back to Aramaean or Aramaic. Oh, people go, oh yeah, Aramaic. Aramaic just means the language of Aram. Aram goes back to Aram is the name, the ancient name for the Syrians, the language of Syrians. The Assyrians spoke it, the Assyrians spoke it, the Persians spoke it, we spoke it, Babylon spoke it, the Chaldeans, the elite, they spoke it. Nothing fancy. Heathens and Jacobites spoke the similar languages. That's all. That's the point. Anyway, it says they spoke the Syrian tongue and interpreted what?
And interpreted in the Syrian tongue.
Right, to the Persian. Go ahead, king, go ahead.
Raham, the chancellor, and Shimshai, the scribe, wrote a letter against Jerusalem to Artaxerxes, the king, in this sort.
Right, hold on. Let me see. We want you to stop. I want you to stop. Now you're doing good. You're doing good. Go ahead, keep going.
Verse 9. Then wrote Raham.
Verse 6 is Cambyses the second. Verse 7 is Bardiah, and 8 is still Bardiah. 7 and 8 is Bardiah. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Then wrote Raham the chancellor, and Shimshai the scribe, and the rest of their companions, the Dinaites.
The Apharsachites, the Tarpelites, the Apharsites, the Archavites, the Babylonians, the Susankites, the Deavites, and the Elamites. Elamites goes back to Persians again. East Indians, you're welcome, Abaddon. You're welcome.
Yo, I appreciate that. Now it's your turn.
You've been here for 3 hours. You've been here for 3 hours, man. The show been over. The show that ended on verse 9.
That was charity, Deacon.
Yeah, you're welcome, sir. Verse 9. Verse 9, read verse 10.
Verse 10. and the rest of the nations whom the great and noble Asnapper brought over. And
Asnapper is Ashurbanipal, another Assyrian king, Ashurbanipal. These are heathens that were also put in our lands in displaced northern kingdom. Okay, Asnapper is Ashurbanipal. Go ahead.
And set in the cities of Samaria and the rest that are on this side the river, and at such a time.
Right, they set them in the cities of Ephraim, northern kingdom. Go ahead. These are heathens that were there. These heathens that were placed there also reported us and gave us a hard time building the temple. They didn't want us building nothing. They saw the threat, didn't like it. They saw it as a threat and didn't like it. Go ahead.
Verse 11. This is the copy of the letter that they sent unto him, even unto Artaxerxes the king. Thy servants, the men on this side the river, and at such a time, be it known unto the king, that the Jews which came up from thee to us are come unto Jerusalem, building the rebellious and the bad city, that have set up the walls thereof, and joined the foundations.
This is called propaganda. They're slandering us. Go ahead.
Be it known now unto the king, that if this city be builded, and the walls set up again, then will they not pay toll, tribute, and custom, and so thou shalt endamage the revenue of the kings. Now, because we have maintenance from the king's palace, and it was not meet for us to see the king's dishonor, therefore have we sent and certified the king.
Right, so in other words, these guys building their temple will pose a threat to the kingdom itself because they have a history of rebellious kings like Joachim, like Jachin, like Zedekiah. They used these kings who rebelled against other rulers over them as a way to stop us from rebuilding the temple. And they were successful in doing so. Go ahead.
Verse 15. That search may be made in the book of the records of thy fathers. So shalt thou find in the book of the records, and know that this city is a rebellious city.
Go to the kings. Go ahead.
And hurtful unto kings and provinces, and that they have moved sedition within the same of old time. For which cause was this city destroyed? We certify the king that, if this city be builded again, and the walls thereof set up, by this means thou shalt have no portion on this side the river. Then sent the king an answer unto Raham the chancellor, and to Shimshai the scribe, and to the rest of their companions that dwelt in Samaria, and unto the rest beyond the river, peace, and at such a time. The letter which he sent unto us hath been plainly read before me. And I commanded, and search have been made, and it is found that this city of old time have made insurrection against kings.
Right, the rebellious kings. Go ahead.
And that rebellion and sedition have been made therein.
Kept the records. Go ahead.
There have been mighty kings also over Jerusalem.
Yeah, they had these people had a mighty kings over them. Go ahead.
Which have ruled over all countries beyond the river.
David and Solomon ruled over all countries that are beyond the river Euphrates. We ruled over Iran, Iraq. We had all these lands in our possession. Go ahead. Syria, part of Syria. Go ahead.
And toll, tribute, and custom was paid unto them.
We had toll, tribute, and custom. Taxes were paid unto us to enter into our land. You had to pay taxes and tolls when our kings were ruling. And it will be that again. Go ahead.
Give ye now commandment to cause these men to cease, and that this city be not builded, until another commandment shall be given from me. Take heed now that ye fail not to do this. Why should damage grow to the hurt of the kings?
Right. Stop these guys from building. Go ahead. You have my permission to stop them from building. Go ahead.
Now when the copy of King Artaxerxes' letter was read before Raham and Shimshai the scribe and their companions, they went up in haste to Jerusalem to the Jews, and made them to cease by force and power.
By authority of the king. Go ahead.
Then ceased the work of the house of God, which is at Jerusalem. So it ceased until the 2nd year of the reign of Darius, king of Persia.
See how long it stopped for? It stopped until the 2nd year of the reign of Darius, king of Persia. It stopped until the 2nd year of his reign. And he's the one that allowed them to further it and build, and it was complete during his time. So now, Ezra, 1 Ezra 2:16. Where we at? What time is it? 2:31. Get another hour. We should stop. All right, so those of you who have any questions regarding what we read so far, you're more than welcome to leave a comment. Leave us a comment at the number 267-702-6121. That's 267-702-6121. 6121 for any comments or questions you may have regarding the class thus far, or any questions you may have concerning it. Now, remember, what I did not touch on was the fact that Cyrus gave a decree for Israel to return to the land. The majority of Northern Kingdom did not return. The majority of Northern Kingdom decided to leave their lands of captivity and come to this side of the world. Okay? They came, you read 2nd Ezra 13, 40 and down. They entered into the Euphrates. They sailed off. They made pit stops and made their way around the Horn of Africa into the, Pacific or whatever, leading into the Atlantic, whatever, and so forth. Indian Ocean, and landed and came over. And they came over this side of the world, okay, and resided here for thousands of years. All right, and that's how they got to this side of the world. I'm trying to think if I want to get it or not. Do I want to get it?
Bring it out, Deke. What is it?
When we came to this side of the world.
Oh, I mean, y'all can watch the classes. We got it's just like you said, it's an
y'all
extensive catalog.
Yeah, y'all can just go back and watch it. But I go into during this time where Cyrus gave them liberty. It's liberty to return from our lands of exile. Northern Kingdom, of course, that hatred we have for each other. They chose rather than to come back to their land, Samaria. That's why the heathens were still in Samaria at this time. And we read earlier how these heathens are in the land since the time of Asnapper. In other heathens, you had the land since the time of Esarhaddon. These are heathens that were placed in Samaria. So even during Cyrus's time, you had heathens that were still predominantly in the land of Samaria, because the bulk of Northern Kingdom, where were they? They came to this side of the world. Remnants of Northern Kingdom took their lands back. They did, but the heathens are still residing there as well because the Assyrians had placed them there. Okay? And likewise, you even had Edomites or heathens in our lands as well. Remember, Judah and Ephraim shared lands. So the Northern Kingdom lands, these heathens are there. They were the ones that were writing us up, writing up all kinds of decrees and reporting us to the king to stop us from rebuilding. Because they felt by us rebuilding, that would establish our rule again. They didn't want that. So they interrupted the building. So the majority of Northern Kingdom came to this side of the world during this decree, during Cyrus's decree, a proclamation of the return from the exiled lands. Let's just get it.
So Deacon, that's just pretty much SPLC right there.
Yeah. SPLC, ADL, Defamation League, right. Same thing.
Getting different laws and mandates passed, setting traps so we can't move here, move there.
Right.
Same thing.
Same as that thing.
Southern Persian Law Center, that's all.
But yeah, Southern Persian Law Center. Southern Persian Law Center.
I like that. Get a bomb. With a bomb.
Damn.
Oh, God.
Wow.
He didn't catch it. He didn't catch it.
Come on, bro. If we got to tell you to drop the bomb.
These guys, it's like Biden over here. They bombing the wrong place. They bombing the wrong places. It's like Biden. Bomb it, because it looks good. Bomb it. Looks bad over there. 2nd Ezra 13:40.
2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 40.
Yeah.
Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea, the king, whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive.
So during the time of Hosea, the king, Salmanassar the fifth, son of Tiglath-Pileser the third, came over. The Lord sent him to come and besiege Northern Kingdom. Go ahead, during this time.
And he carried them over the waters, and so came they unto another land.
Into the lands of Assyria. Go ahead.
But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
So how did they take counsel among themselves? When they were given the liberty to leave the lands where they were taken away captive by Assyria. When the Persian king gave us liberty to return from our lands of exile, they took counsel among themselves, saying, should we go back to Samaria? And they were like, no. Because if we do that, we got to throw them Judite niggas. We don't like them. Let's go somewhere else. Moses prophesied we'd be somewhere else to the other end of the world. Let's go over there. Remember, Solomon, I showed you before, in the series before, Solomon had fleets that traveled the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean, so they knew the understanding of this side of the world. The Bible refers to this side of the world as the fourth part. The fourth part of the earth, all right, from which never mankind dwelt. All mankind resided in the old world or the known world. That's Europe, Africa, in the so-called Middle or Near East and Far East. That's the known world. That's the old world. That's Shem, Ham, and Japheth. I'm sorry, Japheth, Shem, and Ham. That's the 3 parts right there. So what's the 4th part? A place where no son of Noah was at. The new world. You understand? There was no unless Noah had a side chick and had Taquan over here on this side of the world with a side chick, son we don't know about, Americus, I don't know. He came over here, the bastard boy on this side just chilling. No. This is a place where never mankind dwelt. The nigga saying, oh, the place where never mankind dwelt is Africa. Really? Damn. Is it?
Don't make sense.
Last time I checked, Africa was given to Ham and Shem. So which part of Africa was whenever mankind dwelt? Which part? The south?
How you come up with that?
Ham was there. The west? Ham was there. Central? Ham was there.
Stop smoking them
Northeast? Ham was there. Which part of Africa? Africa's so big. There's certain parts that the white man ain't been to, so that gotta be Arserif. You niggas are dumb.
Africa.
Which is a place where never, man, you understand what that means? Never, never means? Never mankind dwelt. Never, mankind never been there. Never been there at all. That landmass has never been inhabited by man. That's what it means. So if you have, for example, let's say you have Hawaii, right? And there's certain parts of Hawaii that mankind hasn't discovered yet. Man is in Hawaii, right? So mankind dwells there. Maybe not in all the parts, but he dwells there. The new world is new because no one was there until we got there. Whenever mankind dwelt means no one was there until we got over there. The new world. The new world. You understand?
They hate Northern Kingdom.
Oh, God. Yeah, they hate Northern Kingdom. And then when you ask them, okay, the Native Americans are not Israelites. Okay, well, what are they? Oh, they're Asians because of their phenotype. You niggas are dumb. You're not even scientists. Yeah, the phenotype? Yeah, they're Asians. Okay, cool. So which son of Noah do they come from? Which child? Who's their forefather? Heathen. Okay, I got that.
Right.
Which one? Heathen. You guys are retarded.
Trying to sound deep.
Trying to be deep. Stop.
Hey, digging, they so bugged out that they also saying that we were Hamites.
Right, I heard that before. You guys are Hamites.
Right.
It's ridiculous. Now you're Hamites now. Okay.
Wow.
Hey, which one? Which Hamites? Which group of Hamites are they? Canaan? Girgashites? Hivites? Which one? Which one are they? Oh, my breath when you find the answer. Wait, someone say something?
We had somebody yesterday come to camp like that, talking about the Bantus. Remember yesterday?
Yeah, I'll tell the Bantus about that.
He said Sahara Desert comes from the word Sarah.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, wow.
All right. What else?
He said Abraham was buried in South Africa.
Yeah? Wow. That's deep. Buried in South Africa.
Hey, but D, I wanted to bring out going back to the heathens that was placed in our land. Remember when you read was it First Maccabees chapter 10, verse 38? Remember the Maccabees, we took back over the land.
Right.
So we got Samaria back. What do you think we did with those heathens? Yeah. We got rid of them.
Took them out.
We got rid of the heathens. So that's right there debunks the whole the thing that the Samaritans was heathens.
Right.
Or whatever. Mm-hmm. All right. That was Northern Kingdom that was there.
Right. We took portions of Samaria. Those heathens they still had some. We took like
three governments.
Three cities of it. Right. So we took some. Northern Kingdom took those possessions of those lands that we governed over. Or was that with the heathens that were in the lands and became Gentiles as well. Mind it. Where we at? 13, right? 40?
Verse 42 now.
41 again, please.
Yes, sir. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
I'm sorry. I got to do it. I'm sorry.
Bring it out.
The phenotype thing. Y'all do realize that the Native Americans in the side of the world had Negro features, right? They weren't all looking the same. You had some looking like you're referring to, whom Esau shows over and over again to make it look like they're different people. Then you have the Negroid ones. And when you had numerous explorers come over here saying they all have physiological differences, but they all have one source. I mean, they're all the same. You'll find the same physiological differences among each of them. So, example, you'll find some in North America looking like Jess, or and you'll find some. And you'll find some. I'm Judah all day. And then you'll find some looking like a Don, in the same landmass. But they're both the same. Then you go to Central America, you'll find some looking like Abaddon, and then some looking like Jess. and then you'll find some in South America looking like Adon, and then some looking like Onias. But they're the same source. The same source, but primarily Jess. But the main source. You understand? They vary in features. You understand? They vary in features in different lands, but the white man understood these guys share the same physiological differences or physiognomy or phenotype all over the Americas. They all the same people. Like the ancient so-called Aztecs or Olmecs or Mayans had Negroid features, and in some instances had more, their higher cheekbones, smaller eyes, because that's due to, thank you, we're going to put that up, due to them mingling with the other nations from the time of Assyria. And then you brothers, here's the part that makes you guys so retarded. Y'all do understand that we had 5 mothers, right? Y'all know that, right? We had 5 mothers, 2 were heathen. How did mothers look? How they look? How did Jacob's heathen wives look? His wives' maidservants, they were heathens. How did they look? Bilhah and what's her name? Zilpah. How they look? You don't know. So this is the reason behind possibly why you had their kids looking like that, eyes small, high cheekbones, and some looking more like Negro, whatever, because of that. The 2 heathen mothers, and Joseph, of course, Joseph's wife was Egyptian. So Ephraim and Manasseh, they're going to look like they probably had their mother's family's features as well. You don't know. So this is the Olmec right here. Olmec right here. These guys are the forefathers of the Mayans. These are the forefathers of the Mayans, the Olmecs. They were referred to as the rubber people because the land was plenteous in rubber. But the Olmecs had children, and they branched off into different names and families, and later on became Aztecan peoples or Mayans. They branched off, different families. But this is the time, they got here during the time of Solomon's navigation time. That was their time. Then during Persia, more waves came during Persia. Likewise, in Israel, during the Babylonian captivity, we fled into parts of Africa. Assyrian captivity, parts of Africa. Then Babylon came. More waves of us came into Africa again. The same thing in this side of the world. We came in waves. So the ancient of us, with the Olmecs that came, they had the Olmec calendar. Then the Mayan calendar pretty much is the same as the Olmec calendar. And the Aztec calendar is pretty much the same as the Mayan. They're the same thing because it's the same people. Okay, the Olmecs are the most most ancient archived people to been here. They are our people. I brought this out in my series. They were Israel too. I brought this out way back, all right? And the reason why their heads is in the sand is because us being simple as hell, we believe that the soul or the spirit resided in the head. So they put their head in the ground because the soul resides there. That was the belief that the life, it is true. The life is pretty much just the head. It's true because once your brain dead, you're done. You know, you can be if your heart is still alive and your brain function, the machine keep you alive. But once your brain is dead, you're dead. So to an extent, but we went overboard. The point is that the Olmecs, these are our people here too. You have Negroes, the wide nose, the thick lips, and then you have some that look more, again, the higher cheekbones and the smaller eyes. But we varied in features on this side of the world. Some Asian-like, as you'd say, or Negro-like, but it's the same people. Same people. So you go by the feature stuff, it's ridiculous. Israel resides in India since the time of Assyria till now. How they look? Like Indians. All right? That's the Dalits, the CDs.
Right.
All right? That's all I want. Our people over there in the Philippines, same thing. Our people over there in the Vietnam, our brothers went to Vietnam, they went in them women over there. They went in. Them kids look like black Asians. And the Vietnamese are already dark. So they look just like the Vietnamese, because the Vietnamese are already black. Then black folks go over there, lay with the women, and make browner babies, looking like the Vietnamese is already over there.
Literally called brown babies.
They're called brown babies. Well, that's Germany.
That's Germany, right.
But Vietnamese babies, the black babies in Vietnam, what you gonna say to them? They're not Israel because they're phenotype? You niggas are stupid as hell. Just shut the hell up and be quiet, man.
Look at the tennis.
I'm calm now. Oh, yeah, Levi's sister. Yeah. You know, she thinks she's, you know, it pissed me off with her. She pissed me off. She subscribes more to her mama's side. That's why the Bible says, don't make mixed nuts. Marry your own. That's what happens when you marry outside. Your kids grow up confused and stupid. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. You know, The Rock, Vin Diesel, Mariah Carey, Halle Berry. They grow up with problems. They're not reared right. Tiger Woods. But anyway, that's sidebar. Go back to Ezra again.
We got a question, Deep, if you want to. I don't even know. It looks.
I don't know if it's a question or not.
All right, well, again, what's the question?
Shalom, Israel. Have you heard about Tertullian, the father of the Trinity doctrine? Shalom, Israel. Science has debunked the...
Tertullian was the brother that brought Roman Catholicism to Africa. I heard of Tertullian, yes. Tertullian introduced the Roman Catholic doctrine into Africa, yes. I know Tertullian, Trinity doctrine. Trinity is a Catholic doctrine, which goes back to Babylon and Egypt. But yeah, I don't know if he pushed the Trinity, but I know that Tertullian was a founder. There was a Negro, or African or whatever he was, a black man that brought that Roman ideology to Africa. Yes, that I know of. I'm aware of that. Is that the question he's asking?
It's another one after that.
All right, what's that?
That's a statement.
Yeah, statement. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Shalom, Israel. Science has debunked the migration theory for Northern Kingdom. Bering Strait theory is dead nail in the coffin.
It is. It's definitely dead. That's where they get it from. The Bering. Thank you. I forgot that part. The Bering Strait. They say that there was a land bridge, I think, linking America to Asia. It was during the glacial era. A ice bridge formed, and they walked over it in blistering 0 degrees temperatures with, I guess, their freaking bear fur. I guess they had bear fur that was freaking made them warm, walking in freaking below 20-degree weather. Crossed the glacial land bridge and got to the side of the world from Asia. You can't make this up. That's based upon the Bering Strait theory, which supports evolution, because that doctrine goes back hundreds to thousands of years. Then it became hundreds of thousand years to 40,000. 40,000 turned to 30. 30 turned to 20. 20 turned to 10, and 10 became, we're lying. We don't know. It's lies. They dismissed it. It was nonsense. All right? Is that it? On the comments and questions?
Sir. Yes,
all right.
sir.
So now, go back to Ezra again. Read verse 42.
Yes, sir. Verse 42. That they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river.
Right, they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow passages. Give me real quick 2 Chronicles 5:26. Shout out to Officer Reuben for bringing this to my attention this Sabbath on the way to this class. He found this 2 Chronicles, or was it 1 Chronicles? Let me see. 5:26. I think it's 2nd. Let me see.
2nd don't got 26.
First 5:26. 1 Chronicles 5:26. It's written mad times. It's in Kings, but I'm just getting to the point. I don't feel like spending too much time on something I already went over.
Yes, sir. 1 Chronicles chapter 5, verse 26.
Let me get there with you. Hold on. Yeah, read that, 26.
And the God of Israel stirred up the spirit of Pul, king of Syria.
This is Salmanasar's father. Go ahead.
And the spirit of Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria. And he carried them away, even the Reubenites and the Gadites and the half-tribe of Manasseh, and brought them unto Halah. And Habor. And Harah. And to the river Gozan unto this day.
Now, when you research the river Habor, Habor is a small river that flows into the Euphrates River. All right, they were placed in lands with these waterways, and those waterways, rivers, flow into the Euphrates River. And the Euphrates River flows southward. It always flows southward. It flows southward into the Persian Gulf. Okay? Blow it up real fast, we see. It's called Habor in Arabic. Khabar, rather than Habor. Get the Euphrates, let me see. You got it there? What you have here? Yeah, what's that one right there? The black and white one right there. You got your cursor on. Just type in Euphrates River. If you research Habor, it's a river that flows right into the Euphrates. And Euphrates flows southward. All right? We're going to use that one? Okay, that's fine. Let me see it. Blow it up. Blow it up, blow it up, blow it up. Come on, come on, come on, come on. That's as big as it. Can't go that big? Bigger than that? All right, get another one. That's good, but I need a bigger. Okay. As big as that goes? We're sidebarring for a moment, so I guess we ain't going on no break then, because it's already 3 o'clock. Let's just keep going. If you have any more questions, y'all can still call us at 267-702, right? 6121? 267-702. Okay, I'm getting it now. 267-702-6121.
Sorry, D. We had a Negro on the comment board.
Oh God.
Saying what? Nonsense. Talking about we believe that we was here. We believe that we was here before from some book. And he talking about stop it. And it's only opinions and speculations. But then he deleted his messages.
Okay. You were here before? You talking about we were here before?
Because we read Second Esdras about the Northern Kingdom coming over to the side of the world.
We were here before that. We were here during Psalmist time. Even before that. I said that already. What he's saying?
He's saying that's false. He's saying it's false. That never happened.
What, us coming to the side of the world?
Right.
Wow. That's deep.
Bruh. He deleted his messages, though.
That was a wise decision he made.
Right.
Because that'd be stupid. Let me see. That's a pretty big. Point to the Euphrates. All right. Well, what river is it flowing into? Is it showing the river that it flows into? Well, I see there's a bunch of blue right there. All right. Euphrates is right there. And it flows downwards. Follow the river. Let's just follow the river then. Follow it. Bring it down till it goes to the body of water. Go down, go down, go down. And then boom. See how it flows southward? It flows down into the Persian Gulf. All right? It flows right down into the Persian Gulf. All right? So they entered into that. The Halak, Habor, goes on. All are next to the Euphrates. So read on.
Verse 43. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. Mm-hmm. For the Most High then shewed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over.
Kept the current steady, because the waters there are very turbulent. Go ahead.
For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half.
So go around the Horn of Africa, all the way around. Once you go around Africa and flow and go straight, you end up in Central America. Go ahead.
And the same region
the currents from West Africa flow westward. They flow this way. All the hurricanes and stuff you see, they flow westward. Everything goes westward. The winds blow westward. The slave ships brought them westward. Always this direction, this way. All right? Go ahead.
And the same region is called Arsareth.
And the same region is called Arsareth. Go ahead, meaning another land or a newfound land. Go ahead.
Then dwelt they there until the latter time.
Dwelt they there until this time.
And now when they shall begin to come.
That's all I want. So let's go back where we were at. So we were in so during that time they came over here. A second wave came over here during Persian liberation from exiled lands. Not liberation, but Persian proclamation. Now get 1 Ezra 3:1.
1 Ezra chapter 3 and verse.
No, wait, it was the 1 Ezra 2:16. Did we get that yet?
No, I don't think so.
No. 1 Ezra 2:16.
No, we did.
Did you read that?
We did.
To 30?
We didn't read the
Nah,
30.
we didn't read up to 30.
No.
We stopped at 17.
All right, read on.
Verse 18. Be it now known to the Lord the King, that the Jews that are come up from you to us, being come unto Jerusalem, that rebellious and wicked city, do build the marketplaces and repair the walls of it, and do lay the foundation of the temple. Now if this city and the walls thereof be made up again, they will not only refuse to give tribute, but also rebel against kings.
Right, that was the slander. If you let these guys build, they rebel against you like their kings did against other kings before you. Go ahead, that's the slander. Go ahead.
And for as much as the things pertaining to the temple are now in hand, we think it meet not to neglect such a matter, but to speak unto our Lord the King, to the intent that, if it be thy pleasure, it may be sought out in the books of thy fathers.
Now, we just read this earlier. Now jump down to verse 30.
Verse 30. Then King Artaxerxes, his letter being read, Rethumus and Semelius, the scribe, and the rest that were in commission with them, removing in haste toward Jerusalem with a troop of horsemen and a multitude of people in battle array, began to hinder the builders, and the building of the temple in Jerusalem ceased until the 2nd year of the reign of Darius, king of Persia.
Written again. Now get chapter 3, verse 3 and down.
First Ezra chapter 3, verse 1. Now when Darius reigned.
Now we're in Darius' time. Now when Darius reigned. So now we're past Cyrus. We're past Cambyses. We're past Bardiah or Smyrtis, same person. And now we're at Darius. This is Darius the first now. I showed you in the pamphlet. This is Darius now. Go ahead.
Now when Darius reigned, he made a great feast unto all his subjects, and unto all his household, and unto all the princes of Media and Persia, and to all the governors and captains and lieutenants that were under him, from India unto Ethiopia, of 127 provinces.
Right, he had 127 provinces from India to Ethiopia. This is why you had Israelites ended up migrating into where? India, who became what? CDs, Dalits. That's them. Okay, read on.
And when they had eaten and drunken, and being satisfied were gone home, then Darius the king went into his bedchamber and slept, and soon after awakened. Then 3 young men that were of the guard that
3 young men that were his royal guard, his own personal guard. Go ahead.
That kept the king's body spake one to another.
The king's bodyguard of the Persians is called the immortals. These are the immortals. The same ones you see in the movie 300. These 3 men were of his royal guard. They were called the immortals. It was 10,000 of them. Okay? And what they would do was, when one got killed, they would replace one, so it would appear as if they were immortal. Because they always kept 10,000. Didn't you got a video on that before?
Yes, sir. You want it?
Yes, I do.
All right.
I know I promised when we go over this, I was going to bring that video out about the immortals. All right? The show, history on the immortals and how elite they were and efficient they were in that as his royal guard. Not going to be the king's personal guard, or in this instance, the ancient secret service. That's what they were. Ancient secret service. That's what they were. All right?
Look for it.
This video, we posted a long time ago. Hope you can find it. That was way back, right?
Yes, sir. Not too far.
Hold on a second. So right now we're entering into the royal guard. Yep, the royal guard of the Persians. I'm trying to find my pencil. Yeah, the royal guard of the Persian king.
All right, here we go. I'm about
We
to
got a
post it
video.
up.
We found a video way back on them, so we got it now. You got it up? Let's watch this video real quick. You know, give you guys some some visuals. You know, God occasionally throw that in there. Can't read everything, so you gotta let you watch some stuff. This is it?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. How long is it?
How long?
It's not saying how long it is? It shouldn't be that long. Hopefully not.
Are you able to play it?
It's playing, but is it, you rewind it at least? All right, well, let's rewind it and play it. Hopefully it's not that long. Or we'll just stop midway. It's not even showing the minutes. Hold on a second, y'all. We're trying to get this thing put together. To at least see how long it is. It's all right. Just play it.
Hey, Deacon. They have it on YouTube.
It's on YouTube, the same video?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
How long is it?
It's 9 minutes and 50 seconds.
See, I didn't need to see that. That's too long. So we'll have to watch at the beginning of it to get to the point. So you sent it to them?
Yeah, I'm going to send it right now.
It's on YouTube.
Oh, they got it.
All right, cool.
Okay.
We good?
Yeah, it's 9 minutes long, so I guess we'll stop somewhere around 3 minutes.
Sun beats down on an ancient battlefield. The Persians are once more clashing with their Greek rivals, and below a gathering of crows who wait for the feast to come, rows of men crash into each other. Blades stab, spears are hurled, and the ringing of weapons falling on the Greeks' bronze shields echo across the battlefield. The Greeks are better trained in infantry tactics and armed with superior bronze armor. Their large shields interlock to form massive defensive walls, which open up only briefly for spears to be thrust and javelins to be thrown. The Persians are also well trained, but their lighter infantry is ill-equipped to handle the heavily armed Greek formations. Slowly, surely, the Greeks push forward, scything their way through the ranks of Persian infantry. Then there's the sound of a horn being blown, followed by the distinctive thundering sounds of thousands of feet marching together. The Persians fall back. The infantry has done its job of wearing out the Greek defenders with their sacrifices. Now it's time to secure victory. Clad in bronze armor that runs from their shins to a thick bronze and leather breastplate, faces hidden behind metal masks that fit tightly under a bronze helmet, 10,000 of Persia's greatest warriors, the legendary immortals, march to meet the Greeks in battle. Unlike the other Persian forces, these immortals are well disciplined and just as equally well equipped, with large shields comparable to the Greeks. The Greek may be fine warriors, but the Persian numbers are vast, and after exhausting the Greek infantry with its own, the Persian king now sends his finest warriors to secure victory. In the ancient world, few military units were as feared as the legendary immortals. These were men personally handpicked from across the great Persian Empire to serve as...
These are men handpicked from across the Persian Empire. Remember, from Ethiopia unto India, they handpicked people to be the guard. Okay? So that includes our people in those provinces. Continue.
The king's personal bodyguard and his shock troops. Wherever victory seemed elusive or difficult, the immortals were sent in to secure it, and they nearly always did. To become an immortal, you had to be personally selected by a senior military officer and then recommended to the king and his court for service. Only the most capable, bravest, and most loyal soldiers could hope to claim a spot amongst the most elite of Persian fighting forces. But skill, strength, and loyalty weren't all that was needed, as immortals needed to be men above all reproach, and thus strong moral character was a necessary quality to serve. So much for the man-monsters pictured in the movie 300. As one of the longest-lived of the ancient world's military forces, the immortals existed since the reign of Cyrus II in 550 BCE, and were in service until sometime in the 2nd century CE. It's believed the immortals were organized by Commander Pantea Ardishbot, a woman who would also go on to become the first commander. This may have been shocking to other cultures, but in the Persian military, women often held high-ranking positions. Once more, it's getting kinda hard to figure out who the good guys in 300 really were. The soldiers who would serve as immortals were recruited from amongst the best of the best.
They were recruited among the best of the best.
Dang.
The immortals are the best of the best. Keep this in mind. Go ahead.
Replaced the moment that one of them was killed, injured, or otherwise incapacitated and unable to fight. This way, the immortals always maintained their numbers at exactly 10,000, which helped fuel myths of their invincibility in battle. In ancient warfare, myths were just as useful tools in defeating your enemy as information warfare is today. Soldiers who would become an immortal would often come from Persian and Med noble families.
Pause. It says would often come from Persian or Mede families, right? They were often their own people. Watch this.
Could afford the expensive equipment required to be a soldier. These men would begin to train at the age of 5 with archery, javelin throwing, and horseback riding. They were forced to endure the harsh elements with little protection and often had to forage for food to supplement their meager rations.
Wow.
This was meant to toughen them up as soldiers and prepare them for the rigors of combat. However, physical education was only part of the equation. A good soldier needs to be mentally and spiritually tough too. And to that end, the young men would then be taught Persian religion as well as history of the Persian Empire, with emphasis on the noble deeds of Persian heroes.
Pause. That sounds like Daniel. That's what Babylon did with Daniel. The same thing. This is often, but there were instances where they had other nations, including our people, recruited in this military. We were fierce. We were warriors. Go ahead.
A strong moral compass was instilled into each young man, along with loyalty to the Persian king and people both. All this at a time when most Greeks would happily sell themselves out as mercenaries to the highest bidder. Lastly, Persian soldiers-to-be were trained to always speak the truth, a fact that even their bitter enemies, the Greeks, made note of and approved of.
Pause. They had to speak truth. They had to speak truth also. Should show them moral character. Keep this in mind about speaking truth. Go ahead.
Immortal was not just difficult and dangerous, as they would often go into the most dangerous of battles, but it was also very profitable. Immortals received a pension upon retirement as a thanks for their service, along with other Persian military personnel, but also would accrue great wealth during their service. They would often adorn themselves with gold jewelry and gold embellishments, and were followed to most battles by baggage trains made up of wagons full of concubines, slaves to serve them, and many of their own provisions to supplement whatever the rest of the army got.
Damn.
This, of course, was all a fitting reward for some of the best trained, most pious, and most honorable of Persian soldiers. Immortal equipment varied through the ages, with breastplates of bronze until the widespread adoption of iron. Then, an immortal would be clad in a bright, colorful tunic with an iron breastplate that rather resembled fish scales. Unlike the Greeks, who wore man skirts to battle, the immortals were clad in proper pants under their long tunics.
Men had pants on.
Damn.
Men had pants on. Who pants ever existed in ancient time? I say you black women sound in my head when you talk stupid. They wore robes. That's how you sound to me in my head. It makes my soul hurt. Get the breastplate, please.
Each immortal was trained to use not just the sword and spear, but also the bow, and thus would carry arrows with them in a quiver on their back. Under late Persian rule during the Sasanian Empire in 2nd century CE, the immortals became a cavalry unit and were clad from shin to head.
I saw one. So that's good enough. So they're the best of the best. They were groomed from childhood and up, reared up in the religion and education of the Persians, forced to face all kind of weather conditions and brave the harsh weather and different to make them strong, to build them up, right?
And were handpicked from the different provinces of the
different provinces, often their own, but they were also handpicked from different provinces. It was not always their own people. Often, yes, but not always. All right. So, where you at? We was in verse 4, right? Read 4 again.
First Ezra chapter 3, verse 4. Then 3 young men that were of the guard that kept the king's body spake one to another, let every one of us speak a sentence. He that shall overcome, and whose sentence shall seem wiser than the others, unto him shall the king Darius give great gifts and great things in token of victory. As to be clothed in purple, to drink in gold, and to sleep upon gold.
You did it earlier about being clothed in gold. They wore gold. They were adorned in gold, things of that nature. You remember that? Go ahead.
And a chariot with bridles of gold, and an head tire of fine linen, and a chain about his neck. And he shall sit next to Darius because of his wisdom, and shall be called Darius his cousin. And then everyone wrote his sentence, sealed it, and laid it under King Darius under his pillow, and said that when the king is risen, some will give him the writing, and of whose side the king and the 3 princes of Persia shall judge that his sentence is the wisest, to him shall the victory be given, as was appointed. The first wrote, wine is the strongest. The second wrote, the king is strongest.
And the third wrote,
women are strongest. but above all things, truth beareth away the victory.
Remember the video? The truth, speak truth. That's why the third person, you'll see, is the contest. Go ahead.
Now when the king was risen up, they took their writings and delivered them unto him. And so he read them. And sending forth, he called all the princes of Persia and Media, and the governors, and the captains, and the lieutenants, and the chief officers, and sat him down in the royal seat of judgment. And the writings were read before them. And he said, call the young men, and they shall declare their own sentences. So they were called and came in. And he said unto them, declare unto us your mind concerning the writings. Then began the first, who has spoken of the strength of wine. And he said thus, O ye men, how exceeding strong is wine! It causeth all men to err that drink it. It maketh the mind of the king and of the fatherless child to be all one.
Right, you act like kids. Go ahead.
Of the bondman and of the freeman, of the poor man and of the rich. It turneth also every thought into jollity and mirth, so that a man remembereth neither sorrow nor debt. And it maketh every heart rich, so that a man remembereth neither king nor governor. And it maketh to speak all things by talents.
Liquor is truth serum. Sometimes a person drinks enough liquor, they talk too much, they say too much, speaking talents. Go ahead.
And when they are in their cups, they forget their love, both to friends and brethren. And a little after draw out swords.
Something that can make people violent, they become violent drunks and hurt people. You have drunks, you have people that drink and tell everything and say everything they shouldn't be saying. And you got others who drink to the point they fight and kill each other. Go ahead.
But when they are from the wine, they remember not what they have done.
Once they wake up, they go, I said that? I did that? They blacked out. When did I do that? Liquor is powerful. That's why I'm saying wine is powerful. Go ahead.
O ye men, is not wine the strongest that enforceth to do thus? And when he had so spoken, he held his peace.
Chapter 4.
Chapter 4, verse 1. First Ezra, chapter 4, verse 1. Then the second that had spoken of the strength of the king began to say, O ye men, do not men excel in strength that bear rule over sea and land and all things in them? But yet the king is more mighty, for he is Lord of all these things, and hath dominion over them. And whatsoever he commandeth, them they do. If he bid them make war the one against the other, they do it. If he send them out against the enemies, they go and break down mountains, walls, and towers. They slay and are slain, and transgress not the king's commandment. If they get the victory, they bring all to the king, and as well the spoil as all things else. Likewise, for those that are no soldiers, and have not to do with wars, but use husbandry.
They're farmers.
When they have reaped again that which they have sown, they bring it to the king, and compel one another to pay tribute unto the king. And yet he is but one man. If he command to kill, they kill. If he command to spare, they spare.
It's the power of the king. Go ahead.
If he command to smite, they smite. If he command to make desolate, they make desolate. If he command to build, they build. If he command to cut down, they cut down. If he command to plant, they plant. So all his people and his armies obey him. Furthermore, he lieth down, he eateth and drinketh, and taketh his rest. And these keep watch round about him. Neither may any one depart and do his own business, neither disobey they him in anything. O ye men, how should not the king be mightiest, when in such sort he is obeyed? And he held his tongue.
Second speaks, and the third speaks. Go ahead.
Then the third, who has spoken of women and of the truth, this was Zerubbabel, began to speak. O ye men, it is not the great king, nor the multitude of men, neither is it wine that excelleth.
He's saying, no, that's wrong. It's not that at all. Go ahead.
Who is it then that ruleth them?
Who rules over men? Go ahead.
Or hath the lordship over them? Are they not women?
Women.
Women have borne the king, and all the people that bear rule by sea and land. Even of them came they, and they nourished them up that planted the vineyards, from whence the wine cometh.
So women are the reason behind us coming into the world, and farmers come out of them. Farmers come out of women. They push them out. Go ahead.
These also make garments for men.
Women make the garments for men. Go ahead.
These bring glory unto men.
Women are made to bring glory unto men. They're made in the image of man. after they made in the glory of man. Go ahead.
And without women cannot man be.
And without women, man can't be, because men labor women and they bring forth children. Women are necessary. Go ahead.
Yea, and if men gather together gold and silver, or any other goodly thing, do they not love a woman which is comely in favor and beauty?
Do not men love beautiful women? Yes, we do. Go ahead.
And letting all those things go, do they not gape, and even with open mouth fix their eyes fast on her?
Do you not see a woman be like, damn, she's bad. Look, you stuck like, oh, wow. Man, you see it. You see it on TV. You see it in real life. Go ahead.
And have not all men more desire unto her than unto silver or gold, or any goodly thing whatsoever?
Yes, men desire women more than anything else. Above everything else. Money and then women. That's it. Go ahead.
A man leaveth his own father that brought him up, and his own country, and cleaveth unto his wife.
I'm trying to keep it rated G. I'm trying really hard to be quiet. You know what he's talking about. That men desire more than anything. What are you talking about, man?
He striketh not to spend his life with his wife, and remembereth neither father nor mother nor country. By this also ye must know that women have dominion over you.
By these things you know women have dominion over you. Go ahead.
Do ye not labor and toil and give and bring all to the woman?
Okay.
Yea, a man taketh his sword and goeth his way to rob and to steal, to sail upon the sea and upon rivers.
You got men that commit crime for their woman. And you know why?
Damn.
You know why? Because she's sunshine. Some of y'all know Harlem Nights. She's sunshine. They call her sunshine. That's what they call her. I ain't gonna tell you why. You have to watch the movie to find out why he calls her sunshine. You watch it. There's a reason why he calls her that. And the mobster dude lay with her. And he
called home, right?
She said, I think I love you. He was like, he started crying. She left. And then he called his wife. And he was like, yeah, put your mom on the phone. Yeah, so-and-so. Yeah, I ain't coming home no more.
Click.
Put it on him, man. Had him finished, man. Jacked him up, go ahead. Like Samson, same thing with him. Put him to sleep. That man was the strongest man who ever lived. Go ahead.
Verse 24. And looketh upon a lion, and goeth into the darkness. And when he hath stolen, spoiled, and robbed, he bringeth it to his love.
His woman, go ahead.
Wherefore a man loveth his wife better than father or mother.
Right, go ahead.
Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women, and become servants for their sakes.
Zerubbabel said, I've seen men lose their mind over the woman.
Simps.
You know why? They simps. But sometimes you got women, they have it's like Taken. They have a special set of skills. For men like you know, you finish. It's a wrap. Go ahead.
Many also have perished, have erred, and sinned for women. Mm-hmm. And now do ye not believe me? Is not the king great in his power?
Not the king great in his power? Because remember, one of y'all mentioned wine, one of y'all mentioned the king. Go ahead.
Do not all regions fear to touch him?
Do not all regions fear to come near the king? Go ahead.
Yet did I see him.
Yet, go on. That's what he says. Remember, the Persians expected a man that spoke the truth. He goes, do not kings fear the king? Do not people fear the king to come near him? Remember, under the Persians, you must be summoned. You can't just go up to the king, hey, what's up, king? No, you got to be summoned. So he goes, aren't not people afraid to even approach him without being summoned? But I saw the king, the king, go ahead.
Yet did I see him and Apame, the king's concubine.
I saw the king and Apame, his concubine, go ahead.
The daughter of the admirable Bardicus, sitting at the right hand of the king.
Sitting at his right hand. Watch this.
And taking the crown from the king's head.
I watched this woman take the crown off the king's head. Go ahead.
And setting it upon her own head.
And put it on her own head. Got you. Put it on her own head. Go ahead.
Damn.
She also struck the king with her left hand.
Oh my God. Then he watched her slap the king with her left hand. Now understand, you get slapped by somebody with their left hand, that's double disrespect. Not only because you got slapped, but by the inferior hand, the right hand.
That's a setup, bro.
He's like, oh.
You don't even deserve my good hand.
Right, I'm gonna slap you with the bad hand, left hand, with your crown on my head. Go ahead.
And yet for all this, the king gaped and gazed upon her with open mouth.
you just slapped me in the face? He gazed at her. Go ahead, watch this.
If she laughed upon him, he laughed also.
If she laughed, he laughed.
But if she took any displeasure at him, the king was fain to flatter.
I'm sorry. I hurt your feelings. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. You know why? Particular set of skills, like taking, man. This is the king's talking about. It's not his wife. This is his other wife. This is the inferior wife. Go ahead.
That she might be reconciled to him again.
He can make up with her again. You know what reconcile means. Go ahead.
O ye men, how can it be but women should be strong, seeing they do thus?
You can't deny women are strong based upon these things that men do for them, what they do. Go ahead.
Then the king and the princes look one
women
upon...
are strong. Women are strong enough where if they do what they have to do, the king will let them slap them in the face with their left hand and put the crown on their head. Because, you know. Yeah, you know.
Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade, definitely. That's definitely. There you go. Dwayne Wade is so damn that he allowed the woman to come and make his son a woman.
It's the box.
You
the box, man.
You see how men in the world, brothers in the world, take their paycheck.
Right. I'll give you a prime example.
Straight to the club.
Prime example.
I mean, strip club.
You'll have dudes. One time we went to Maryland. We went to Maryland, I think. At the Expo, Afro-American Caribbean Expo.
Oh, that was way back. I wasn't there, though.
You was there. You went with me.
I'm sorry, I wasn't
with the books and all that stuff was there. You was there. When I stood on stage, you went.
You was there.
Oh, I came late.
Yeah, but you were there.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and this big dude came. He did a bid like 10 years. Big dude came. He was like, yeah, I believe you guys are saying, yeah. He walk up. His woman walks up with him. She looks. She's like, his woman, she's not exactly, what I would deem gazing upon. Like, she wasn't that. But she walks off. So, she's like, she's not interested. He's like, I'm sorry, y'all, I gotta go, lady. Wow. I'm like, yo, this dude was like, his arms are the size of this table. He looked like Optimus Prime. His neck was up here.
He had the traps.
Yeah, I gotta go. He can't even turn his neck.
He had a football neck.
And the dude had to leave because his woman didn't stay.
Damn.
And the dude did like years, so he probably had a body on him. He did years on him. I'm like, yo, this dude's woman made him leave.
Wait, Deke, so she ain't say nothing like,
she said nothing.
Babe, we gotta go.
No, she just walked off like, nigga, let's go. Damn. Yo, I gotta go. Huh? Yeah, I gotta go. Yo, I'm like, yo, women, that box, boy, damn. So that's just an example of women being strong. That's just prime examples. You'll see a brother walk around, he diesel as hell. His woman will walk around with a body out, tight outfit on, right? And you, like for example, you'll walk. I've seen this numerous times where I'm walking, and a brother is walking with his woman, and she's dressed pretty completely inappropriate. You know what he'll do? He'll do this. Why? Why he doing that? To let me know that's his. But if she wasn't dressed that way, you wouldn't need to do that.
Right.
Or they'll be in the escalator. We'll ride up. She's got something on. He'll stand behind her. But why you let her leave out the house like that? Because women are strong. And she can wear whatever she wants, and you are weak to tell her she can't wear that out in the street. That proves Zerubbabel's point. Women are strong, and men are weak and go out of their wits for them. These are prime examples I've seen with my own eye. I've seen it. Brothers getting to fight. What you say to my woman? They got to fight over her because niggas try to holler at her. Some brothers will holler at their girl right in front of them. Then you got to fight and prove your love. I prove my love and go and fight and get yourself stabbed and killed. It's craziness. But read on, where we at?
Verse 32.
Yeah.
O ye men, how can it be but women be strong, seeing they do thus?
Yeah.
Then the king and the princes looked one upon another. So he began to speak of the truth.
So the king, the countess is like, this dude disrespected the king. Because Zerubbabel was like, yo, I saw the king get slapped with his hand in his face with the left hand. This countess was like, this guy is crazy. Go ahead.
Verse 34. O ye men, are not women strong? Great is the earth, high is the heaven, swift is the sun in his course. For he compasseth the heavens round about, and fetcheth his course again to his own place in one day.
I mean, the sun moves, the earth doesn't. That's what he's saying. The sun has a course, it moves. The moon has a course, it moves. The earth stays still, the sun moves around. Go ahead. Not vice versa. Go ahead.
Is he not great that maketh these things? Therefore, great is the truth, and stronger than all things. All the earth calleth upon the truth, and the heaven blesseth it. All works shake and tremble at it, and with it is no unrighteous thing. Wine is wicked, the king is wicked, women are wicked.
Damn.
All the children of men are wicked.
Everybody, everything wicked.
Damn.
You wicked, women are wicked, men are wicked, everything's wicked. Go ahead.
And such are all their wicked works.
And all their actions prove that they're wicked. Go ahead.
And there is no truth in them.
Go ahead.
In their unrighteousness also they shall perish.
And they're all going to die, he's saying. Go ahead.
As for the truth.
As for the truth, though. Go ahead.
It endureth, and is always strong. It liveth and conquereth forevermore. With her there is no accepting of persons or rewards. But she doeth the things that are just, and refraineth from all unjust and wicked things. And all men do well like of her works. Neither in her judgment is any unrighteousness. And she is the strength, kingdom, power.
She is the strength, kingdom, power, and majesty. Go ahead.
And she is the strength, kingdom, power, and majesty of all ages.
Damn. Go ahead.
Blessed be the God of truth. And with that he held his peace.
I'm done. Go ahead.
And all the people then shouted and said, Great is truth, mighty above all things.
Great is truth, mighty above all things. He proved this point. Truth matter. Go ahead.
Then said the king unto him, Ask what thou wilt more than is appointed in the writing, and we will give it thee.
Watch this.
Because thou art found wisest, and thou shalt sit next me, and shall be called my cousin. Then said he unto the king, Remember thy vow, which thou hast vowed to build Jerusalem in the day when thou camest to thy kingdom, and to send away all the vessels that were taken away out of Jerusalem, which Cyrus set apart, when he vowed to destroy Babylon, and to send them again thither. Thou also hast vowed to build up the temple, which the Edomites burned when Jerusalem was made desolate by the Chaldees.
See that? The Edomites burned the temple down when the Babylonians came in. They were responsible. Go ahead. This is Zerubbabel talking, the third guy that spoke. Go ahead.
And now, O Lord, the king, this is that which I require, and which I desire of thee. And this is the princely liberality proceeding from thyself. I desire, therefore, that thou makest good the vow, the performance whereof with thine own mouth thou hast vowed to the king of heaven. Then Darius the king stood up and kissed him, and wrote letters for him unto all the treasurers and lieutenants and captains and governors, that they should safely convey on their way both him and all those that go up with him to build Jerusalem.
So Zerubbabel chose this time to get a chance to get a request. Remember, he worked for the king. He was the king's bodyguard. He had a job, and he used his position to basically sway the king to give them liberty to continue building the temple that was stopped during the time of Cambyses II and Bardiah. All right, and Cyrus. He used this opportunity during Darius' time to gain authority to continue rebuilding it again. Go ahead.
Verse 48. He wrote letters also unto the lieutenants that were in Cilicia and Phoenice, and unto them of Libanus, that they should bring cedar wood from Libanus unto Jerusalem.
Libanus is Lebanon. Go ahead.
And that they should build the city with him.
Come on.
Moreover, he wrote for all the Jews that went out of his realm up unto Jewry, concerning their freedom, that no officer, no ruler, no lieutenant, no treasurer should forcibly enter into their doors, and that all the country which they hold should be free without tribute.
Watch this.
And that the Edomites should give over the villages of the Jews which they held.
See what happened? See what happened when Israel got put out of the land? Edomites took the land. Edomites took the land. They always take the land.
Do so today.
Just like today. They always desired the land. When the Edomites came in, helped the Babylonians capture us, burn the temple to the ground, then took the land and resided there until they were kicked out again by the Persian decree of Darius. They were put out. So Esau was in the villages. Okay? So Esau always strived for possession of the land. Read on. almost done. We'll finish the chapter and be done.
Verse 51. Yea, that there should be yearly given 20 talents to the building of the temple until the time that it were built, and other 10 talents yearly to maintain the burnt offerings upon the altar every day, as they had a commandment to offer 17. And that all they that went from Babylon to build the city should have free liberty, as well they as their prosperity.
That posterity, their children, posterity, okay?
As their posterity, and all the priests that went away.
What?
He wrote also concerning the charges and the priests' vestments wherein they minister, and likewise for the charges of the Levites, to be given them unto the day that the house were finished, and Jerusalem builded up.
Come on.
And he commanded to give to all that kept the city pensions and wages.
Pay them. Go ahead.
He sent away also all the vessels from Babylon that Cyrus had set apart, and all that Cyrus had given in commandment. The same charged he also to be done, and sent unto Jerusalem. Now when this young man was going forth, he lifted up his face to heaven toward Jerusalem, and praised the King of heaven, and said, From thee cometh victory, from thee cometh wisdom, and thine is the glory, and I am thy servant. Blessed art thou, who hast given me wisdom, for to thee I give thanks, O Lord of our fathers. And so he took the letters and went out, and came unto Babylon, and told it all his brethren. And they praised the God of their fathers, because he had given them freedom and liberty to go up and to build Jerusalem, and the temples which is called by his name. And they feasted with instruments of music and gladness 7 days.
Right, so Darius gave us permission to continue to rebuild the temple. So the foundation was laid. It was hindered during the reign of Cyrus. It was interrupted with Cyrus, Cambyses, and Bardaiah. All right, and then up into Darius, we were given liberty again. And by his second year of his reign, it was already built. It was completely built. So we're gonna stop here. I'm gonna give shout outs to the breakfast team as well. We're gonna get a chance to eat it. Look mad good. We're gonna eat it. And the IT team did an excellent job today. All praises to you. Thank you very much. All praises for brother. Thank you, Abaddon, for reading. Did an excellent job today. All praises for that.
All praises.
And any announcements?
Yes, sir. Hey, Israel, let's give Deacon another hand for that class. That thing was amazing. Every week he comes back with more fire. All praise to the Most High. Israel, if you want to catch up on all the classes that Deacon has done, all the content that Deacon has put out, you can go on our YouTube channel, Our Hidden History Radio on YouTube. Make sure you hit the notifications button so you know when we go live. You can also help donate to the book fund for Deacon to bring out more and more books for Israel on PayPal to iuic.philadelphia@israelunite.org. Once again, iuic.philadelphia@israelunite.org. All right? Also, do not neglect to give alms. For those who would like to give alms to support Our Hidden History, fill out an envelope and place it in the alms box for those that are in Philadelphia. To give alms online, donate to IUIC via PayPal at iuic.philadelphia@israelunite.org on PayPal, all right? Donate to the Booster Club via PayPal at iuic.fundraising@israelunite.org. Once again, you can donate to the Booster Club via PayPal at iuic.fundraising@israelunite.org. You see where your money goes towards, all right? I think that's it, Deacon.
All right, so with that, Lord's will see y'all next week for another episode of Our Hidden History Radio. And with that, we're going to say shalom. Thank y'all.
All right, shalom.
Until next time. Most High Christ bless.
Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Do you know it? History. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Do you know it? History. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Heathen on my back for sure when I let the truth go. We gon' let them know. My people on my back for sure. I hold them down for the road. The Lord Almighty made me. Laws I got, they changed me. We can see the truth now. Got them looking crazy. Man, I'm always searching. Yeah, you hear I'm searching. You hear me, boy, I'm searching. You hear me, boy, I'm searching. You hear me, boy, I'm searching. Yeah.
Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. History. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? History. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, and you know it. Yeah, rounding up the, yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know